They literally say Superman is an alien.
Hey, what are you watching?
Lex Luthor is non-binary now. It's not explicitly stated, but I can just tell.
Oh, it's a political commentator's review of the new Superman movie. I'm relying on him to come through every frame of the movie to make sure it validates my political views.
Is he a movie critic?
Because God forbid, imagine I sit down in the theater after paying $300 for a single ticket.
That's not, And lo and behold, Superman the person turns directly into the camera and says something woke.
So you're anti-woke, I guess?
Or fascist. He could say something fascist. I wouldn't like that.
Sorry, are we talking about the same? We're talking about Superman, right?
I need my innocent boyish eyes to be shielded from any message that might contradict my views.
In Superman, like what message? Like be nice to people?
Well,
it does sound kind of woke.
I don't get why you're so bothered. I'm not strong enough. Look at my innocent boyish features. If Superman does something woke, if Hollywood beams woke particles off the projector and onto the screen that bounce into my eyeballs, I might become woke. I might submit.
You want to see Superman?
Yeah.
Then go watch it. It's just a movie.
Fine. But if looking at Superman's gorgeous face makes me gay,
What?
I mean woke,
I'm blaming you.
that's fine.
By James Gunn to say, it's an immigrant thing and I think it's going to hurt the numbers on the movie. I was excited for the film. So I'm rooting for it to be a success, but I don't like that last political comment.
Superman, I'm Smithers. I'm with the FAA. Is that you flying overhead a few minutes ago?
What? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I need to see your license.
My what?
Your license. To fly? You do have one.
No, I don't.
Superman, Agent Bauer, IRS. We've been trying to contact you. We need your social security number.
I don't have one.
Emily Stevens with Immigration and Naturalization. We just need a quick look at your green card.
Green card.
You are an alien, are you not?
Superman, I'm afraid until we get this cleared up, I'm gonna have to ground you.
Though the Doe administration doesn't officially take power for a few months, I wanted to let the people know that we're going to make the transition as painless as possible. I'm already working with President Garner on that.
Oh, God. I'm starting already.
My greatest hope is that the former supporters of President Garner will join with me in making this country great again.
Again?
Like back in the days of slavery.
In particular,
And the point I think he was making about the MS-13 thing on his cape was, how woke is Hollywood going to make this character? How much is Disney going to change their Snow White? Why are they going to change these characters that exist, for the times?
Don't mind my friend, he's schizophrenic.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it. Brie Larson says one fucking thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
Words are flowing out like woke. Mary Sue, objective truth. They don't mean much, but nothing ever does across the grift of
All right, you assholes.
You can pick up the softback trade paper.
The what now?
How do you do, fellow kids?
The f***ing what? Hello, and welcome. It's not just me though. No. Fluttering in on the wings of a butterfly. We've got Eric DeBunks.
Hey.
And then bobbing in, we got Bob.
What?
Chaotically bobbing in.
Are we talking about how woke Superman is? Because I'm really offended by that.
So look, I want to point out this one thing here that lead.
Yeah, I read that as well, and all I could think was, I imagine if Lex could grab his DNA, he would know how to cover
Lex,
up
yeah.
who he
You
is.
can kind of extrapolate. I don't think it needs to be laid out that far. That like, if he can make a literal clone of Superman and he knows so much about him and everything like that, then he probably understands that the one thing he can't see through is canonically lead, and so he probably had a lead-lined costume.
Well, I also want to point out this is one of those situations where, I mean, do you want hand holding or not?
Spoiler, sorry.
No, I mean, do you want hand holding or not? Because like the argument is that a lot of movies take their audience for granted and say, "Oh, we're just going to tell them everything," and that's one of the criticisms we see a lot is that you have to sort of extrapolate what's going on for yourself. And We also kryptonite wasn't explained in the movie. Like if you when he shows up and there's kryptonite, which I'm not going to spoil the scene, but he shows up and there's kryptonite. They don't take the time to explain what kryptonite does at its core. It's just kind of like a throwaway line because they just assume that this. And I think there was a lot of that in the movie.
What I think a real fan of Superman would do is instead of look at this and go, aha, look, it's a fucking flaw in the movie. Aha, I'm going to point that out at the start of a stream every chance I get just so I can be a special guy. I would think that a fan would go, that's an Easter egg for me because I know that that's lead. That's just me,
I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to be lead. All we can extrapolate is that Lex has done something so Superman can't see it.
I mean, if Lex knows about kryptonite, he knows about lead. Let's just be clear. I mean, that's I mean, what are we doing here?
If there was a complaint about X-ray vision, mine would be that he only used it once.
Yeah.
I mean, famously, Superman did give an interview with Lois Lane where he just decided to say he can't see through lead, which was, kind of foolish of him. Let's be real.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but we kind of took a big L with the Superman movie because they had a pretty special cameo that's part of this Chud crew. I don't know if you know this, but RK Outpost Ryan Kennel, he did the voice for like a certain character in the movie. Watch.
Enjoy the negative grip, guys. I'm out.
Just seamlessly into the movie. I didn't even know.
I thought you were going to show a certain animal typing on a computer.
Enjoy the negative grip, guys. I'm out.
There was that aspect too.
That meltdown was so funny.
Enjoy that aspect.
Yeah, that was a funny meltdown.
Yeah,
somebody just pointing out basic budget numbers. Oh my god! Oh my.
I mean, if Superman was really a hero, why didn't he fucking release the Epstein files?
Right. I mean, that's the question.
True.
That's the question.
Release those Epstein files, Superman. Come on. We all put on our pants one leg at a time, or whatever he said at the end. Sorry. By the way, sorry for the spoiler.
It's worth saying if somebody has access to the Epstein file and isn't releasing it, kind of makes you wonder if there's maybe something incriminating on that.
Maybe
in there.
It's one thing to not release it for certain reasons, but if somebody was to campaign on it, right? Just to literally, that's a big part of their campaign for president. Okay. And then they built up this whole mythos about how he's going to expose all the deep state, Democrats and the PDF files and stuff like that are connected to him. And then he gets in office and he's like, oh, we're going to do it. And then his attorney general is like, yeah, we're going to do it. I got the whole list on my desk right now. And then suddenly, nah, dog, we ain't doing that shit. Ain't nothing there. Y'all are stupid for even thinking that.
I mean, the story has just in the last month, the story has changed several times.
So, and they've legitimately, in a way, this is the first time I've empathized with MAGA for a while. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yeah, man, y'all are realizing finally that they've been thinking you're fucking idiots because you kind of have been.
Well, you notice that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers has been separating his anti-Trump, well, not really anti-Trump content, but his criticizing Trump content to his third channel.
No, I didn't know.
So he's got Geeks and Gamers, and then Geeks and Gamers has a bunch of spinoff channels, but then he also has his D-Day Cobra channel, which is his streaming political channel. He's got D-Day Cobra 2 with 15,000 subscribers. There are tons of Trump is making a mistake, all these kinds of videos on that channel that are not on any of his other channels.
Because he's got to separate his audiences, right?
Yeah.
It's like whenever there's people that have multiple friends in different friends groups, but they're desperately afraid of letting those friend groups kind of collide because they don't know what'll happen. It's kind of like that, except it's monetized and it's an audience and they're just feeding them misinformation.
Well, the other thing is he says he's still down for Trump, but Trump has said today that if you're someone that supports release of Epstein files, you're a past supporter of his. So
whoa.
He said that today on Truth Social. So
I mean, it's got to be the truth then. So
yeah,
yeah, there's a new poster for Supergirl. I can pull that up in a second.
Look out instead of look up.
I mean, I got to be honest. I was not expecting. Spoiler alert. We're probably getting. I don't think we're going to necessarily dive into spoilers.
I think the poster existing is sort of it defeats the spoiler.
Well, no, I'm just talking about her calling him a bitch. I was surprised. I don't know if anybody's ever called Superman bitch.
I will tell you right now, in the little bit of time that I saw her, I am more excited for that movie than I was for Superman. Yeah,
yeah.
Especially Woman of Tomorrow, a take on that comic is going to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the movie did get me excited for the DC universe, and honestly, I'm kind of excited to watch the movie again, which I plan to do later this week, because
it was definitely.
I'll be honest,
Superman film. I think it's pretty easily that. Probably almost before I saw it, but I mean, I was, just based on what I believed it was going to be, I was like, I'm going to really like this movie. And of course, it could have been fumbled in the execution, and I would have just thought it was terrible. That did not happen. So, yeah. I was wondering during the movie, whenever he's like, crypto is a foster situation, I was like, what is, and I didn't click with me, but then it made perfect sense at the end.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the poster, here's this. Look out. She's a hot mess, y'all.
It's going to have Lobo in it too. Like, I'm just really, really excited for this movie. This to me is like, what?
Superman's never really clicked internationally for the most part, but like, yeah, they didn't expect it to.
No, I actually think that if you look historically at the Superman films, I don't think they've ever blown away the international market. So, not too surprising. But it's doing really well domestically, which I think the studios already came out and said that, they're looking for not necessarily $1 billion. They're looking for it to do moderately. And as long as the fans love it, they're going to continue, with the franchise. And I would say based on like everything, the cinema score, Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes, online chats, the domestic numbers, I think everything is telling them that this is the right direction for for the DC universe.
I mean, one thing is for sure, and that's
no one's more creative than James Gunn.
I think it's worth saying, how Superman's not clicked internationally. That has more to do with Drop the American Way than anything else.
Yeah. It's odd to me that Captain America is a better international hero than Superman, because Superman just has that baggage tied to him. Like, the Captain America movies typically did better internationally than the Superman movies did, especially the second and third one.
I definitely want to see this become a popular meme in our communities, if possible. You guys, search that up and find it, and maybe once we get some higher res images from those monkeys, we can get some better ones. But this is just like any thumbnail, any image of any chud, whatever they're saying, anything. It's so easy, just the easiest fucking format template for a meme. You know what to do with it.
You know what I'm really shocked about is I was watching some different reviews from people, and a couple of the bigger ones like Nerdrotic and stuff. How are the studios okay with them having like HD rips of the movies that they can just upload clips with? Have you noticed that, like, in their videos?
How are they uploading HD rips from like?
I haven't noticed that. I've noticed they usually. I've noticed lots of times they'll get cam footage moved.
So I've got a short here, which I think is a good jumping off point for. But so I think he maybe show something in this.
Where Superman stops an invasion from totally not Russia into totally not brown Ukraine, or totally not Israel into totally not Palestine. I didn't see it that way, but if some people see Israel portrayed this way, well, maybe some people working on this film are forgetting who signs their checks and who their agents are. And
so he did.
And is that like a Jew thing? Is that what he's suggesting there?
I was in my head. I had to play it back a second time in my video. I was like, what?
So he's saying they forget who signs their checks and who's the head of the studios or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, you're pissing off the Jews, man. Like, God damn it. No, I mean, it's a whole other topic of conversation, kind of. But this movie almost kind of seems to suggest that there is a sea change in what's allowed to be, how we're allowed to talk about this shit.
Right.
I also think it's kind of funny how it like the implication there is that Israel and Jews, same thing, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, in his mind, I'm sure it is, because he's a fucking white nationalist.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for Nerdrotic. Gary's a fucking racist bigot piece of shit. That's like critical drinker level of fucking couching his opinions and not his opinions, right? Where he's like, some people see it that way. I don't see it that way, of course, but if some people do, and then goes on to say, like, clearly he fucking sees it that way. And he's doing that because, he can't say that the movie's woke and bad as much as he wants to, right? Because I don't know, a lot of people seem to like it. A lot of people that are...
This review was rough. I did a whole video on it. This is a clip from that video, but yeah, I did a whole video on it. It's a rough review. It's like, he's totally dialing it in.
Let me finish up.
Yeah, go for it.
One thing I think.
So he did see it that way. That's a wink, wink from him. He did see it that way. That's what he's saying. So the idea of it not being woke, he's saying that because he understands the writings on the wall and people are not vibing with that, with this movie, but he's talking about stuff that he would call woke in other films, in case you're not paying attention.
Yeah. It's the same thing as Drinker going, no, if I was a cynical man, I'd say exactly what I'm saying right now.
Right.
One thing I thought was interesting was the title of Neurotic's video, and I just thought it was funny. Is it? God, I don't have it in front of me, but it's something like Superman is not woke and a total disappointment.
No, that's
the
pretty much the
implication
title.
of that title. I love is like, wait, are you saying you wanted to be woke? Are you were begging for it to be woke? That's the implication there.
I actually think it's funny because it kind of it's their narrative is dissolving, like it's over time because. How can the movie at this point not contain woke elements, but then be a total disaster, disappointment, destroyed, whatever it is? Like, how can it be any of those things?
The whole time before, like, hasn't he been saying it's woke before it came out?
I think a lot of them were either alluding to it or like retweeting stuff that said that. But
so then, just to be like, now it's not woke,
right?
It's just,
but I thought it was get woke, go broke, meaning that movies that are not woke tend to do well. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole narrative. So if he has a superhero movie that's not woke and there's other things wrong with it, then you have to concede that wokeness isn't the problem. That there's other issues with these movies. Even the ones they deem woke, which we've talked about this, some of them do have problems, but it has anything to do with like women or gay people or black people or anything like that. Like those are just not factors.
And if wokeness isn't the problem, and then he must go on to give a very thorough analysis as to what the problems with the film are, right? Because he knows how to talk about other things, right?
Sure. Gary's known for that. That's
trying to find because somebody dropped a video today. Somebody got marked. Gary got marked. I'm trying to make that a thing.
It's a long video, though. It's a long video.
It is, but he's done something pretty interesting. Not to say that he's the only one that's done this, but he's the only one that's done it. I feel like with multiple reviews within one video, where he's actually combating Nerdrotic with reviews, and it's like at the same time he's getting in the the facts about Gary's habits and patterns and stuff like that. But like,
I actually think it's funny because what that does, because I watched a part of it, I couldn't watch the whole thing yet, but I watched like half of it, is he is just showing how Gary is not a film critic, right? Yep. Like the point of that is film criticism has a lot of layers to it. What Gary does is not criticism.
So yeah, as you can see here, excellent thumbnail there, very eye grabbing. Movies with Mark, man. Like, I'm really glad that he stepped into this stuff because he did this one. He did Chris Gore a couple weeks ago.
Chris Gore one was great, by the way.
I didn't even know any of that stuff about his past, really. So that was interesting to hear. It's just that, like, Chris Gore isn't even somebody who saw success and then failed. He basically just never saw success, and he just kind of
everything he's done has been like a massive failure.
Yeah, I mean, I was giving him too much credit, to be honest.
What's funny is if everything that you have done in the film industry, which Chris Gore has a lot of connections, including like making his own like films and stuff. If everything you've done has been a failure, how are you telling these studios what they should be doing? Think about it. You had an opportunity to do it, and you got it wrong, but now you're telling these multi-billion-dollar studios, the MCU, largest franchise in history, you're telling them what they should be doing, but you couldn't even get one film off the ground when you had an opportunity to do it.
I mean, look at this with 530,000 views on his Drinker video. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Glad to see it. Subscribe to him if you're not. He's one of the good ones. As far as somebody asked, who do I consider legitimate? Well, this guy. Other than that, he just started recently doing these types of videos. Other than that, his movie reviews are just straight down the middle, good ass movie reviews that tell you what he thinks about it with actual analysis of story and tone and structure. And he's not serving any agenda or whatever. The reason I haven't talked to him personally. I'd like to. Actually, I thought we were supposed to have him on today. God damn it! Maybe I need to fill up with him. I'll reach out to him, but I feel like he probably just got tired of the damage that these guys do to film discourse, right? Like,
I would say that this community has this movie, along with like CinemaSins and stuff, have pretty much destroyed film criticism for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you want to, we can. I'm definitely going to dive into it on Friday on Live AF. But man, Mahler's community is they're having a rough one right now.
Yeah, their Reddit is really interesting.
It's
I actually looked over a bit of Mahler's EFAP of Superman, grabbing clips for a certain Mahler video I'm working on. But God, the takes are really bad.
A certain Mahler video? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm working on a Mahler video that's been in production for a while.
I don't do I gave up on that a while ago. Like I shout out to all you guys that do that. I just turn on my camera and talk shit. Like I can't do the editing thing. Like it's just not for me. But shout out to all you guys. Like
it's a lot of extra work.
It is. Like I can't. My ADHD, what is it? ADHD? I don't even know if I have it. Whatever it is that causes you to like lose concentration, whatever that is, affects me when I'm trying to do stuff like that, and I just can't.
It'll be hard. Lots of times I just gotta force myself to sit down and work on it for like 4 hours, and usually I can get solid work done on that. But yeah,
I'm better screaming in the microphone, so that's what I'll do.
I mean, I think Jeremy Johns is, he's kind of a boring film critic to me. Like I don't feel like he gives a lot of analysis that I care for. I know that he did the Am I Racist thing. He was basically one of the only semi-legitimate critics who covered that movie whenever it came out, which lends it credibility.
Which was very frustrating. Like I don't really have a big problem with Jeremy Johns. I don't think he's a great film critic, but if you enjoy him, that's fine. That
Am I Racist review caused me to unsubscribe from his channel. And I didn't know anything about the blackface thing with Blade because I guess it kind of
I didn't know anything about that till then either.
But I also think, looking back now, he's also on cruise control with his reviews. He kind of just does them because he has to do them at this point.
Well, I mean, I always thought his rating system was weird. You know, this movie is good with a pineapple pizza in a bathtub. It's like, what the fuck does
it's like, do you need to be drunk to watch this? If so, you might be an alcoholic, Jeremy Johns. Jesus Christ.
And someone else I used to watch is and I don't think he's really doing reviews regularly anymore. Is Chris Stuckman. I used to watch him a lot back in the day.
Yeah,
but he became like a filmmaker, so he pulled back on doing reviews. So
he's generally got I mean, Mahler and them go after him because of this, because he's just not and especially after he decided he wasn't going to make overly negative reviews anymore. But like even before that, he was just another down the middle, like just a guy that loves movies. He's not trying to convince you anything. What I look for in a critic, by the way, is somebody that'll say something like, if you're into this, then you would maybe like this. Like those kind of statements are what I look for in a critic, because that's somebody who's not trying to convince me anything. They're not trying to make me think their opinion is better than anybody else's. They're just saying, here's the experience I had. If you like this, or if you were interested in this, or if this blah blah blah, then you might like this kind of thing. That's the stuff I look for.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that's like what a review should be is maybe a very brief synopsis, not very far brief synopsis. I'd say of Act 1, and then essentially your thoughts, how it worked for you, and essentially your goal is to try to explain it in a way that will get the person reading the whatever you're writing or your video, give them the vibes of whether or not they would like it or not. That's your whole point.
I wonder if, because Chris Stuckman used to do some funny stuff. He used to do like the worst movies of the year and things like that. But he never did it. I never got the intention that he was doing it in a spiteful, mean way. It was almost more like a fun way. But I wonder if he looked around and saw what YouTube was becoming, and that was one of the reasons why he pulled back on those kinds of videos.
I actually have a clip from him. That is literally what he says. He pulled back on doing stuff like that because he didn't like what the community was becoming.
And meanwhile, on the other end, you got Mahler, who's now writing a Rippaverse comic. So take what you want. From
So look, I have to just bring this up. Eric July has been spending day after day trashing Trump now, like video after video after video attacking Donald Trump.
Holy shit!
I guess it's like I believe so. You can always tell when somebody believes in something versus when they're just doing it for like whatever reason. I think he really feels a certain kind of way about this whole Epstein thing with Trump because he's made so many videos about it. And he even said in his recent video, he's like, there's one thing that even if everybody disagrees with each other, that we want those files released because there's definitely a cover-up happening. And I think everyone sees that.
There's no other way to take it. Like there's literally, I mean, and it's so obvious that even these idiots that voted for Trump can see it.
Yeah.
and they feel insulted because Trump thinks they're even stupider than that. But like I was saying, they found the one thing that these people actually care about, even if they do have warped ideas of what's in the list and who's in the list and whatnot. They think they're going to find every single Democrat that they've been told to hate is going to be on the list. and that's fine.
He found something else to hate on other than movies, finally. So, movies and TV shows.
Who would have thought that Epstein would bring people together?
I mean, look, I think the reality is that everyone probably felt the same way about it. The only difference is that the Trump administration ran on this, and he appointed people into cabinet positions who also wanted the files released. And then all of them are in D.C. with him, and they're like, oh, wait, no, there's nothing to see here.
So, I mean, if y'all want, before we get into Superman too much more, I do have a quick video here from Wired that's pretty interesting about this topic. That it's not even trying to paint Trump as anything specific, but it's just kind of more context about what was really going on with Epstein as far as I mean, we don't have to watch the whole thing, but just check out this a little bit.
Death, the secrets of Jeffrey Epstein remain tightly guarded. But earlier this year, I spearheaded a Wired investigation that uncovered the data of almost 200 mobile phones belonging to visitors to his infamous pedophile island. The data was so precise, we were able to map the paths of these visitors to within centimeters, including their neighborhoods, buildings of origins, and the paths they took to get to the island. These digital trails document the numerous trips of wealthy and influential individuals, seemingly undeterred by Epstein's status as a convicted.
Now, spoiler alert, this does not get into naming names because they're being extra careful about not doing that, but it is still pretty.
So the reality is there are some people out there that do know who's on this list, but they just they know that right now the administration is trying to cover it up. They would be in danger, essentially.
So, I mean, from what this guy says, and I believe it, is that basically after 2008, which was when Epstein was actually convicted, kinda slap on the wrist for what he was doing. In Florida, he was convicted, but basically, he was given a slap on the wrist for soliciting a child for, which should have landed him in prison. It did not. It landed him house arrest, which allowed him to do more stuff at home, basically. But after that, it seems like Trump did not continue his friendship, at least in any way that anybody's been able to track, with Epstein. Before that, they were very good friends.
Sex offender. Wired's analysis of the data is ongoing, and it raises profound questions about privacy and surveillance. This is Epstein Island's secret data on the grid. This is Little St. James.
Wired's like, if this investigation we're doing is fucked up, we shouldn't be able to do this. It raises all kinds of questions.
AKA Epstein Island. These red dots on the map represent some of the 11,279 coordinates I obtained. They were left exposed online by a location data broker with ties to the Defense Department called Near Intelligence. Between 2016 and Epstein's final arrest in 2019, Near collected data on more than 200 cell phones that visited the island. We don't know why they did that or which client or prospective client of Near decided to query the data in this way to produce the maps.
It's a map full of maps, guys.
I would say this, he doesn't know why someone did this. There was someone who was probably either current or at that time currently blackmailing them or was going to blackmail them eventually.
So the tools, right, the tools are scary, but what shouldn't exist, as it gets into in a minute, is like when you compare our laws on data to the UK's, like it really makes you realize how much our government has fucked us on not doing anything.
Dane, I also want to point out, if you look at this, it makes all of that data collection stuff for ad revenue and things seem really silly to complain about. Like, there's actual things they can track you on that are very harmful. Just knowing what brand of Doritos you prefer isn't necessarily the biggest problem. You know what I mean?
But the maps you'll see in this video show where visitors to Epstein Island spent most of their time. Let's take a step back. You might be wondering, where is Epstein Island anyways? Well, it's here. Little St. James is a private island that is part of the U.S. Virgin Islands, an unincorporated territory of the United States in the Caribbean Sea. Epstein purchased Little St. James in 1998 for $7.95 million. It's about 71 acres, the size of 54 football fields. He made the island his primary residence and soon after began welcoming visitors and throwing infamous parties where he was accused of having groomed, sexually assaulted, and trafficked untold numbers of women and girls. The maps of the data collected by Near, and which we at Wired recreated here, indicate the most visited spots on.
Yeah, my son asked me the other day what irony means. I wish I could use this as an example, but I can't. So,
the fact that he said untold numbers, that's crazy to me.
Did you see I showed my brand of Doritos because you mentioned them, and I have some on
the island. From the main house here with the pool, to the beaches and the large sundial, it's all on display, including the enigmatic Hilltop Temple site over here. which has been the focal point in speculations about Epstein's mysterious activities on the island. But the tracking of phones wasn't contained to Little St. James. Surveillance continued long after the visitors left. The data reveals the locations of visitors 30 minutes before and after arriving on the island, which shows us the exact routes everyone took to get there. Some landed here, at the Cyril E. King Airport on neighboring St. Thomas Island. With its private jet and VIP terminals, it was the go-to hub for Epstein's 200-seater Boeing 727 plane dubbed Lolita Express.
Ooh.
We see data points clustered at various area beaches, hotels, and luxury resorts, including the Ritz-Carlton Hotel here. To get to Epstein's island, many visitors got on a boat at a designated dock at the American Yacht.
I mean, I would just be trying to blow up the island, you know?
Harbor, a private marina on St. Thomas co-owned by Epstein at the time. From there, we see a flow of...
Okay, the Lolita part is not irony. That's actually intentionally, called that. Yeah, that's not irony. That's just fucked up because that's what was really going on.
Movement through Great St. James Island, the larger island just to the north, which Epstein purchased in 2016 for $22 million. He had hoped to develop it, but was met with legal challenges after damaging the island's coral reefs and protected habitats. The data then traces visitors' movements as they are ferried to Epstein's private dock on Little St. James. Epstein also had a helipad on the island and owned at least one helicopter, a Sikorsky S-76, which he used often to transport himself, guests, and victims from the airport or elsewhere, according to legal documents and testimony. It's worth noting that the data reveals a regular flow of traffic to and from Little St. James between 2016 and 2019. A lot of people were visiting the island even after Epstein had pleaded guilty in 2008 and served jail time for procuring a minor for prostitution. If we keep following the data trail and we widen our view, we'll see that the tracking of visitors continues once they have left the island and presumably gone back home. The near intelligence data we uncovered pinpoints 166 locations throughout the United States in 80 cities across 26 states. Topping the list were Florida, Massachusetts, Texas, Michigan, and New York.
Okay.
The data points are labeled as common evening locations.
Almost just by state, you can that's a mix of Democrats and Republicans.
Which
you know
is,
what I mean?
but I posted this on my community tab. I don't care. Expose them, whoever they are.
I don't give a shit. It could be literally Joe Biden.
Yeah, I mean, if that's him, treat him the same way you treat anybody else that would commit this crime.
You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Yeah, these people think they haven't even processed the fact. Many of them, I bet, that their people might be somebody that's on the list, right?
Well, I mean, Trump came out today and said this was all still a hoax from Comey and Biden and Obama and all this. And
let's break down that bullshit. That's why, people, they're stupid, these people, but they're not so stupid as to listen to that shit he said the other day and not see the holes in it. Like, he was saying that, this was something that they came up with to try and catch Trump doing something, but they didn't have anything on him. So why didn't they release it? But they came, and it's like none of that, this is all incongruent bullshit that he's saying. If they were trying to catch him up and they were trying to frame him, then they would have done it. You know what I mean?
But if it's a hoax, why is Maxwell still in prison?
Why is nobody going to talk to her?
Right. If it's a hoax, how does she have names to give?
Yep.
Why is she there? If it's a hoax, who are all these people that were abused on the island? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and that's what the Cash Patel is like. Oh, we can't release it because it's the victims, and it's like you blur out the victim faces and names, dipshit, and then you share everything else.
But what I'm saying is, if Trump says it's a hoax, then none of that was true. He's saying that people in his administration have lied, like as early as a couple of weeks ago.
The thing is that like if anybody is waiting on this as like their political fucking football, then you're kind of fucking amoral or immoral and fucked up. This should be the reason that you're waiting for this to come out, is just to nail your political enemies, because I guarantee some of your political buddies are going to be in there too. You should be wanting this because it's fucked up that this ever existed, that this network existed, that these people got away with this, that this guy had all this, power, that he could get a slap on the wrist for doing it one time in 2008 and then just continue doing it. And
people continue to visit his island according to this video, even after that happened.
Yeah.
And the guy that gave him a slap on the wrist ended up in Trump's cabinet.
There's accounts like this. You know what I mean? That's a real case. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? There it is. But I don't know what to say about that. But this isn't about Trump, okay? This is not about Trump doing anything wrong other than covering up something that might show that he's.
But here's the worst part: if he is not someone that has done anything wrong, if that is true, that he's just somebody that was there and didn't do anything, which I highly doubt. But if that's true, he is still covering up for a bunch of people that did. That's the problem. Is even if he is absolutely innocent of all this, which again I don't believe that, but even if that's the case, he is covering up for rich people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's gross as fuck.
There's a Jane account that is extremely fucked up. That
And
never
the fucking gay community, we are getting attacked all the time for doing all these things we are not doing when it comes to children, and then the government is covering up the largest trafficking situation I think in history. I don't remember a bigger one than this.
I mean, not as high profile, not with like involving such high profile figures for sure.
But yet, drag shows are the problem. Story hours are the problem.
It's not even hypocrisy. I mean, yes, it is
that
hypocrisy, but it's just like travesty, man. It's fucking. Sorry, Bob. What'd you say?
I was just gonna say, yeah, optional things you don't have to take your kids to. That's the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
But an island where you can't escape from, that's totally okay.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk was like, look, Trump just needs to go to Camp David for a few days, just shut off the social media. Go, look, just take a break, Trump. You need a break. That's what you need. It's like,
Trump is doing exactly what we know Trump would do with this, and these guys don't understand. He's not going to listen to any of them. Trump's ego is the reason why we have complained about him for years now. This is why. And he's doing exactly what I expect him to do. He's trying to he says he's calling it like the Epstein hoax now, like Russia, whatever. Dude, it's not happening this time. It's not happening.
He campaigned on it. Like this was a big thing for him.
You like last week when you released when you had Pam Bondi release the update saying we're not going to release anything else or whatever, and then the next day in the office when you're having a meeting, a reporter asked about it, and you're like, why are we still talking about this? Your fucking Pam Bondi released the information a day 48 hours before.
I mean, I would agree with you, Critical Ox, but this is a class comment, not a race comment, I believe. You know, it's simply the fact that most white people, you know,
I guarantee it's mostly white people.
Higher class, but yeah, absolutely. I'd be surprised to find anybody but white folks on that list. There's probably some, but yeah.
I
mean, there's rumors, but yeah.
Look, there's been some like, I guarantee, and this is what a lot of MAGA people, or I guess ex-MAGA at this point, because he's excommunicated them.
We'll see if they actually believe it.
Have said that the midterms are going to be a bloodbath. It is going to be an absolute bloodbath because he is giving them so much stuff to run on in the midterms. And they put a vote out for the Republicans to allow them to release these files. And it literally went down party lines. Democrats said, yeah, release it. Republicans said no.
They've been busy gerrymandering the shit out of everything.
Well, I know Texas is one that's pretty bad. But other states like Gavin Newsom has literally called them out on gerrymandering. Like he's called them out on it. So I think like we'll see how it goes in the red states, but I don't think we're going to see that in the blue states.
True. Yeah, I mean, even if these people aren't going to full on just like break off their loyalty, their love of Trump, like hey Ryan, what's up, man?
Hello, boys, and in some cases, gals.
Right. We're talking about fun fandom stuff like Epstein and PDF files.
Yeah.
Why didn't Superman release the files? And like,
what is he hiding?
I mean, you have to think that even if they don't like break off their support for Trump, this is going to definitely demotivate them from getting out and voting for any Trump candidates.
I think a lot of them may not change who they're voting for, but they just might not vote at all.
They just won't get out. They're like, oh man, I don't know if I mean, there's that question of whether or not he's just covering this up because maybe he's a PDF file. I mean, no, I can't let myself think that. That's not true. The Democrats are getting into my brain with their woke brainwaves. Anyway, how's it going, Ryan?
I mean, I know that's supposed to be a satire of one of them, but like that's actually how they think. I swear to God.
It is.
Yeah, I've been checking out some of the videos today on the reaction to his most recent.
Well, there's two. The Truth Social post, and then he had like a little Oval meeting with the president of Bahrain, I think, or whoever that was. I don't even know who it was because the whole meeting ended up asking about like Epstein. So
was it the president of Bravia or?
Oh yeah, the Hammer Bravia, yeah. No, I mean like, yeah. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
The last thing I saw was the today's Truth Social, and the comments to that were basically some people supporting him, some people saying they didn't know what was going on, and some people saying that they just weren't going to vote. And it's like, has he poisoned you that much that it's a choice between vote for the guy who's covering up for a convicted paedophile or the Democrats, and you're like, I'm out. Can't choose between those two.
You really want to believe they're all PDF files, but you just have no evidence yet because you're just waiting on that damn list.
I actually think that the bigger damage that's being done is to the people that help put him in office, also known as the influencers, because people like Joe Rogan and a lot of people are basically they're walking away from it because this is not something they want to be a part of. They don't want to be connected to a pedo cover up. Like they just don't want to be connected with it at all. So yeah.
I mean, I could have told them before they backed Trump if they didn't want to be involved with that. Don't back Trump. Don't.
Yeah. Yeah, Think Noodle. So it's on the D-Day Cobra 2 channel is where he's melting down about Trump. So there's so many videos. So many videos. And he's still saying, like, I'm a diehard Trumper, but, like, dude, no, you're not. If you're criticizing him like this and saying that he's covering up, like, the biggest essay ring in history, I don't see how you can still be a quote-unquote diehard Trumper.
Clip out real quick. This is pretty fun. And seeing Andrew Schultz of the Flagrant podcast, who's some people have actually begun to consider him like an actual fucking journalist of some kind, which is crazy. But this is a pretty good channel, Podcast Cringe. They cover kind of like the ongoing meltdown of the Rogan sphere and all that shit. So
he's now treating them like fools.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of...
These are all people, by the way, that fucking, support Trump, all in, wanted him in office, everything, and yeah.
And did that for the Epstein files. Like, this was part of the reason why they supported
Part of the reason.
Yeah. The things that, and are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Look at them.
You want to
look at the look on their face.
You feel like answering.
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration. But you go ahead.
Sure.
This is it's giving me big vibes of Zack Snyder on Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah.
With like the desecration to ask about something we just released an update on this 2 days ago. It's a desecration to ask about it. Okay.
Yeah.
First to back up on that, in February.
So we're stupid. Yeah, we're the idiots, guys. Just to let you know, we're wasting time.
I mean, they are wearing fucking literal foil on their heads and crotches and stuff. So.
It's almost like they didn't really expect it to go this way. It's funny that we told them that it was going to go this way, but they didn't want to listen to us because.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. That is, like, in all seriousness, that is. I think what is enraging people right now is it's insulting our intelligence. Like, obviously, the intelligence community is trying to cover it up. Obviously, the Trump administration is trying to cover up. Something changed because they ran on this idea of exposing it all. All these guys had great ideas. Cockeyed Cash.
He had clips, Doug. He had bars.
He was ready to tear it all down. He was ready to tear down the entire FBI office.
Shut down the Hoover building day one. Them bitch still standing.
And then he goes on Joe Rogan and he's like, listen, do you think if I had it, I wouldn't share it with you?
I do.
Yeah, I do. I do believe that. 100.
So, wait, are they implying that Trump is full of shit?
Yeah.
Because again, I could have told him that.
The funny thing is to me that we, as in the liberals, left, progressives, Democrats, whatever, have said that this administration is corrupt, and if they get into office, they're going to be corrupt in office. And we were told and laughed at, which, by the way, I have noticed that rhetoric has died down a lot, too. Like, people coming in my comment section, like, arguing with me about that, that's died down as well. Only to find out that, guess what, guys? We were right all along.
What blows my mind is these people that act like there wasn't a first administration.
Right.
It's like, where the fuck were you, man? Like, I mean, no, it's not nearly it wasn't as bad as this one, but, like, they did tip their hand quite a bit as to what kind of people they were, what kind of fucking governance they're going to do, for 4 fucking years. I guess COVID kind of just fucking wiped everybody's brains or something about the previous 3 years. I don't know. But acting like there just wasn't a 4-year case example of what these people would do. I don't know.
I mean, is this draining the swamp? Because that's literally what his people keep saying. Is this draining the swamp? I think it's just making it swampier.
Well,
think
what I
it's just more
realized is that a
swampy.
lot of them, they see draining the swamp just as the PDF file thing. That's all they ever saw it as. And I'm like, oh, okay. I should have recognized that they didn't see it as actual corruption. You know, the corruption that takes place,
Right.
and that's what I.
But
you know,
even so, they got suckered because he's not releasing the files.
No.
At least not not of his own hand. You know what I mean? Like, so
this is the most fucking non-transparent and most fucking nakedly at the same time corrupt fucking administration I think probably ever. You know,
Not just that, but I think it strikes at the complete arrogance that he thought he was going to get away with it this time, because he'd gotten away. To be fair, he'd gotten away with it every other single time. Anything negative came against him, and his fan base was always backing him because, hey, they're lying. They must be lying. Trump would never do this to us. So that was their attitude for the last 12 years. And so he thought he could get away with it. But the fact that he thinks he can get away with this particular thing shows that he hasn't got a clue. And he never had a clue about what people actually felt.
do you
He's just a
think?
populist.
Do you think that there are people not necessarily in his cabinet, but just people around him that had supported him up until this point, that they know that this is it? Like this, like I don't think there's getting out of this. Like I think
Not yet.
I think so. Number one, I don't think he's ever going to release anything, and if he does actually release something, it's going to be redacted and completely fabricated stuff. It's not going to be anything worth that. But it looks like they're trying to force the government to release this. Like we see these different people. Like there's some bipartisan support there as well. If it comes out, this is the crazy thing.
On it yesterday.
Yeah, if it comes out and he ends up being heavily involved with all of this, what is the next move? Like, what is the next step after that? Because then
he uses his fucking giant ice army that he's now building to fucking kill us all. I don't know.
Oh well, no, I'm not talking about that. I mean, like the people in government that has supported this cover up. Like, what do they do? Because they've covered up someone that's like not just him, but if anybody in government still that's working right now is part of this. Like, what do they do?
To be fair, they've all got an easy out for the most part, because they can just say, well, we didn't know about any of this. We're going to have to impeach him. That's the only thing they can do. They can cut out the cancer. If this, depending on where this goes.
It also depends where the base really goes. If he actually loses his base, they absolutely will. I mean,
it seems like Trump probably has something on some of these people. You know, like Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio, and like honestly, the way that they fucking, you know, I mean, yeah, I know that they're naked, fucking blatant, you know, just dishonest, shameless grifters, and that they're going to seize power however they can get it. But at the same time, I don't know, you know, the way that like Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, you know, Lindsey Graham, they were vehemently anti-Trump. And
well, yeah, but he would
something changed. Like
he would need to have something on everybody, all the senators, Senate and House. He would have to have something on all of them, because it doesn't take it doesn't take all of them, does it? It's just a supermajority, 60% to impeach.
Yes, well, God, to impeach, it's actually something ridiculous. I want to say it might be like 3/4.
This is absolutely true, man. This is the problem with this fucking influence.
Well, to remove from office, to impeach is less. But yeah, I think
to
want to impeach, but remove is something insane. To remove,
I actually think that the comedian I'm stupid thing is less about them trying to do things with the government and more about like, oh, I don't want to look stupid. So
someone was detected at your front door.
Somebody's at my door. They don't want to look stupid, so they're trying to cover up the fact that they made a mistake. That's the issue, right? Like, I don't like. Yes, it's insidious and the material harm is the same, but I think it's more about covering their own asses. Got to check my door. I'll be right back.
Guys, I'll be honest. I don't want a Julius Caesar moment because, like, God, if it happens now, he might be seen as a martyr. He needs to be fully discredited. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think it will be discredited. I think.
Oh, and by the way, at the same time, right now, this morning, you remember that fucking beautiful ceasefire that Trump negotiated? Not anymore.
What?
Israel strikes Syria today. I mean, it's not Iran, but it is Syria.
No,
you know, Israel's just fucking off the chain right now, dude. They are fucking gone. Like,
man, where's Superman when you need him? Shit.
Hey, that was not Israel. That was
True.
Moravia. Damn it.
True. That was not Israel Palestine. That was
That's true, man. We
really fucking
legitimately
similar.
we need a fucking legit reconstruction after this shit. Of course, it probably won't happen, but like,
yeah, we will need one.
I think what amazes me about this all is that they couldn't even do it. They couldn't even do fascism for 6 months. I expected them to at least do it for a year, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
I expected things to get a lot worse before Trump would reveal himself to be who he is, to expose himself to the wrong people. So
you got to think of the like, this is a guy who has more failures in his background than most people have attempts at something, you know, and like he still considers himself a fucking winner. It's like the level of delusion that this guy lives with, you know, that he I would say suffer from, but I think he's doing fine internally, you know, is fucking beyond comprehension. And so he just thought, oh, I'm in power again. I got all these people behind me. We got Project 2025, you know, fucking no guardrails this time, motherfucker. Let's just speed run this fascism shit. And he didn't even think about that. Oh, we don't know what we're doing still in a lot of ways. We think we do. We have some plan this time, which is what they didn't have last time. But they thought if they just had a plan, things will go better. And the problem is, he is the problem. His ego, his fucking, you know, wishy-washy nature, his doing stuff just to appeal his own fucking ego. And somebody says the right thing, and he, you know, oh, we have a beautiful ceasefire, and, you know, shit like that. It's just fucking insanity. We are being run by a fucking insane person. Like, this is reality on insane level.
I mean, the only good news about it is we have a whole bunch of fascists, and they're tearing each other down as well. So, yeah. I mean, it is kind of what fascism does. It's not a functional way to do things.
I mean, look, what it really boils down to is this.
Enjoy the negative grift, guys. I'm out.
the funny thing is, just a few days ago, my initial fear was that they were playing this to say, to sort of pretend that they were hiding something when actually there's nothing in the Epstein files, and it's all on the level, but they know their audience won't buy it. So they're going about it in this ham-fisted way so that the Democrats would push and push and push for everything to be put out in the open. And then when everything is put out in the open...
Hello?
Yep. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. My mic was making a weird noise. All right, I'm back.
Yeah, basically forcing the Dems to force this out in the open to reveal nothing, and then Trump could say, see, it's another hoax, but he's gone early. I mean, I know a man of his age is liable to sort of prematurity issues, but he's gone way too early calling it a hoax.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Dude, you hit 5,000 subs, Eric.
Yeah, he's almost 500.
Yeah, I'm over 5,500. I got 500 subs in 2 days. So.
I just saw it like the other day, and I was
Jesus
like, "Oh, he's about to get 5,000." And then I just blinked, and there you are.
Yeah, I was actually going to schedule a 5,000 sub stream like at the end of this week, but now it looks like I might be closer to, like, I'm 5,005, almost 5,600 now, I think.
I mean, it is well deserved. You're doing it, man.
You've been busy on your channel, man. I haven't had time to work on mine.
You've really hit a stride. You found the exact niche, I think, that you were looking for, and or at least that the algorithm was wanting from you.
Yeah.
Anybody want pizza? I actually ordered pizza. So.
Yeah.
No. I'm really happy. I don't know what it was. It just kind of happened. On this past weekend, I was my normal, like my sub count was my normal thing where it was going up at a normal rate, and then all of a sudden like that.
I think I know what it is. Looking at your channel, it's all this Superman shit, man.
Is that what it is?
Like, they've been exposing their asses, as well as the Jester Bell stuff, I think, which has been excellent. I think
that Jester Bell stream you did the other day was hilarious.
Oh, that was
shit, exposing all these idiots on Superman, even giving fucking Tony Beers what for.
That video was rough.
Epic, man.
That was a rough fucking video.
He's been asking for it for a while.
What's so funny because Bob, he was reacting to one of your videos, and I didn't know why he wasn't showing what you're saying. And then when you're like, "Oh, because she did this one thing," and I'm like, "Oh, that's why he didn't show it then because it would have explained why you were calling her sexist."
He's like so blatantly dishonest, but he's too stupid to realize that he's so blatantly dishonest.
My favorite bit was. My absolute favorite bit was when he made the bold statement that white culture is anything created by somebody who's white.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, oh,
and I was like, I made a burger
okay.
today. Is that white culture? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, what is that?
Wait,
what are you talking about?
Is Black Panther white culture?
So Eminem is doing white culture.
It was just so funny.
Eminem wouldn't even call what he does white culture.
No.
God damn it.
but then the worst part is he's in the comments arguing with people trying to defend his position. I was like, dude, you've been making an ass of yourself fucking every day in my comment section. Every day. So
he's begged for it. He's begged for it since, literally begged for it since I think a video that me and Bob put out together 3 years ago almost now.
Yeah.
And he was in the comments and he's like, oh, I was like, come on, man, let's get on stream and we can talk about it. And he was like, no, I don't trust giving my email to a Democrat or something like that.
Yeah, he refused to give out his email, and it's like.
I mean, the funny thing is also I don't understand why he's doing the whole hypnotic yellow flash thing. There's an entire channel of videos with him on camera, so I don't know.
There is?
Yeah, look up Toxic Pop.
Oh, Toxic Pop. Oh,
look up Toxic Pop, and then scroll down to videos from 7 or 8 years ago.
I remember dealing with Toxic Pup and Alpha Eagle.
I think it's called Toxic Pop.
Until I realized, in one
I
day,
caught him doing that.
They're the same person. They're the same.
Let me
Oh, you know what? I think he's got me blocked.
All right, let me do.
I can't go to that channel.
Let me do it while my pizza cools off.
That's pretty funny. Toxic Pop.
Yeah.
Go to it.
Let's see here.
He thinks that's where I got his name and face, and that's not.
So this is hold on, let me share this quickly. This is that channel. And the only reason I found it is because I was looking for Alpha Eagle videos. I was gonna make some clips and stuff. And I found this, right? This is Toxic Pop. Let me make the screen bigger if I can. I don't know why
Yeah, I remember that when Facebook is pushing gay ads. He didn't realize that ads are targeted to the viewer.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right. So this was his channel previously. If you look at the video history or whatever, he was still kind of doing the Alpha Eagle thing for a while. But if you scroll, I have to find. So down here, here's a channel update from him.
Social and political issues.
Oh my
we
God.
are introducing a new mascot called Alpha Eagle. So when you see the Alpha Eagle mascot in the thumbnail, it means that the video will have social or political issues.
So he was trying to turn this channel into the Alpha Eagle channel.
He didn't realize that just if you have an like a cartoon avatar, you don't have to use all of the actual imperfections of your face to have. You can remove those and make it look a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. Some of his older videos, he had some people he would stream with or make videos with. Let's see, where is it at? I think it's way.
I see his face in a thumbnail. Jeez.
No, I mean he's actually on video. Let me see if I can find this.
Yeah, this is Alpha Eagle, right? Beta Birdie, that's what we called him. Beta Birdie. Back in the day.
I never talk about this because I thought people knew. I didn't think that this was like a.
If I cared enough about Alpha Eagle to fucking no, the reason I found this is because some hero who.
Damn it! Hold on. That loud ass music.
Guys, if you're part of the geeks and gamers community, I just want to tell you that shit's not secure. Okay, if you're over on Facebook and stuff, it's not good.
All right, this one doesn't have him in it. This is the other guys he streams with. But let me see if I can find one.
I just saw three of the same guy.
Yeah, there he is, right there in the middle. That is Alpha Eagle.
It's definitely.
That's Tony in the middle.
Man, it's.
Oh God!
I'm a overweight guy. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking in great shape, but at the same time, man, I guess.
I also point out these older videos weren't like the woke stuff or whatever. This was just him and his friends talking about movies.
Oh, okay. 9 years ago, 300. Yeah, okay. So actually talking about maybe with some a little bit of fandom still involved, right?
Yeah. So look right here. The name of the channel is Tony Beers. That's the actual ad of the channel. So.
Yeah. He thinks that's where I got his information.
But this is all public. This isn't private stuff. This is a public channel.
He thought he did such a good job hiding it.
I mean,
but I'm blocked. What are you against? What, you don't believe it? You fucking against? Oh no, actually I found it. I got to it. Never mind.
I was about to say you can't really block you.
Wait, is he watching right now and he just unblocked me? Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it, bud. Anyway. It's beers,
Listen,
as in multiple beers, as in he seems to have had multiple beers every time he comments on the internet.
The fact that we have at least a couple channels I can think of off the top of my head that cover us almost anytime we do something, the fact that we have that means we're doing something right.
Do you know that Pam Bondi was actually she was a registered agent for the nation of Qatar years ago? I don't know what that has to do with anything. I just saw that earlier, and considering, I guess, Trump's meeting with the leader of Qatar today. I don't know. It's interesting factoids. The Bears.
The Bears. Listen, we understand that the Bears been mathematically eliminated from the Super Bowl, but we all know it's part of Ditka's master plan, and we just gotta see it unfold to realize how the Bears are gonna win.
I love this meme, this Invincible meme you posted, DJ.
Oh, yeah.
There were Democrats on that list too. Even better.
Release it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
I would love to know which Democrats to make sure to primary. Shit.
Well, let's talk about the fucking absolute schism that Superman has caused, not just in the chud community, but sometimes in their own brains. I mean, I know last night Anthony Gramuglia did a long stream that I've not seen more than a few minutes of, kind of looking at this phenomenon. Did anybody watch that?
No.
I saw the first section he did about Shadiversity, or Shadiversity, and yeah, that was.
It's like 4.5 hours, right?
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah. But he does cover EFAP as well, so how we managed to get that down to.
Well, let's look at a couple of
Well,
posts
he might
here
have jumped around, which is, to my understanding, the worst sin a person can possibly commit.
Yep.
So there's been several posts under the Mahler subreddit in the last few days that
all agreeing with Moore, I'm assuming, and loving.
No, actually, quite the opposite. So there's been. Let me just go to the subreddit here. A lot of people are just straight up saying that like Mahler and Rags got it wrong. You know what I mean? This is just wrong. They're one thing that they're really stuck on is the adjusted for inflation thing. So what's the deal, Eric? Seemed like you covered that a bit.
Yeah, like saying, like adjusting, and I think Ryan commented this too, and I made several videos about it. If you adjust for inflation on like the box office ticket sales, you also have to do it for everything else. Like you have to adjust the budget of the movie, you have to adjust the marketing, you have to adjust factors like 3D, IMAX, things like that. You can't just do one thing and say, oh, well, this proves that it's not as good as the other movies because this other movie did better adjusted for inflation. You can't do it that way.
Number one, box office has nothing to do with quality of the goddamn movie. But yeah.
But adjusted for inflation is a fallacy because they're leaving out a lot of the other elements that
I was about to say, what was the budget of Man of Steel? Okay, so the budget of Man of Steel was $225 million versus this movie's $220 million. That would get him adjusted for inflation as well.
Right. The adjusted for inflation amount for Man of Steel is like $310 million. So once you do that, then you'll see that the ROI, which is return on investment, ends up being lower right now in trajectory of the films because potentially Superman could make almost the same amount as Man of Steel, not adjusted for inflation, but then Man of Steel adjusted for inflation cost more. Therefore, the value of that adjusted for inflation amount drops the ROI. It's simple math. They just don't do that. So,
well, I mean, they're even the guy from Midnight's Edge is even kind of at odds with him about this shit, right?
Yeah. He was arguing with Gary about it, and Gary just didn't get it. And I'm like, it's really like Ryan Cannell tried to do math. I'm like, dude, shut up! Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Ryan Cannell's box office analysis is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Enjoy the negative grift, guys. I'm out.
Yeah, that's his
really-
box office analysis.
If he
But
really wanted to do the math properly for it, he should have used his head as a whiteboard.
I was gonna say one thing that I think is gonna really help this movie is word of mouth, because this has way more positive word of mouth than anything from the Snyderverse. Anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, plus one of the mandates for this with James Gunn taking over and Peter Safran is that to make the movies cheaper. You know, to not cheaper, but like less cost. Like the budgets were fucking way overinflated for those DCEU movies, considering what the leeway they were giving Zack Snyder to just do whatever, make him break necks and shit. Who cares?
And the audience reaction was not great to that.
No,
adjusted for inflation is a good metric if you want to work out how many people went to see a film that came out 50 years ago, or in the case of like Gone with the Wind, which is adjusted for inflation, is the highest grossing movie of all time, because I think literally every American went to see that.
Yeah, basically.
But it's not a good metric if you compare it. Well, for example, certain things go up in price when they're new and come down in price when they develop new ways of producing them cheaper, things like that. And so, it's not a great metric for comparing Man of Steel to this film, because there's too many things to take into consideration.
Let me tell you what metric matters, and this is obviously just a just isolated thing, and like I was one example that in my personal life, but I mean I can guarantee this is happening a lot with this movie. I took my 10-year-old son to see it, and he fucking had a blast. Like, he didn't care about whatever political shit was going on. He didn't care about whether Superman's trunks are on the outside or the inside. He just fucking had fun, and it was because the movie stayed fun and stayed, action packed throughout the whole thing. Even whenever it wasn't, it had interesting characters doing interesting things, and just new things in every scene. There's like a new thing being introduced that you can kind of like go, oh, and like I fucking saw myself as a 10-year-old again, seeing multiple movies that I saw at that age.
I saw more kids in my theater than I've seen in any superhero movie in the last.
This movie just made a fucking whole new generation of Superman fans, and it's going to continue doing that. Like, it's incredible. Man of Steel didn't do that. It made a few edgy teenagers think, oh yeah, Superman's finally cool or whatever. But that's all.
That was a hilarious thing. Like, there are people complaining about this new movie saying Superman's costume's too bright, and I'm like, fuck off.
The only thing that I guess I might see is like, I mean, this is a matter of taste still, but like, the fact that the what they say, like the Marvelization of his costume with the unnecessary lines or whatever. And it's like, okay, if you think that that's something that really matters, I didn't even notice it while watching the movie, because it didn't matter. But like, that's a matter of texture.
This reminds me of back before the first X-Men film came out, they were releasing sort of shots from that, and I knew people who were complaining that Magneto's helmet didn't look right, and it's not comic accurate, but in the context of the film, who cares?
And what mattered is that I wasn't sitting there looking at the lines in his suit. I wasn't sitting there, noticing that his underwear looks goofy or something, because it doesn't look fucking awesome on the outside. I don't know why we ever let this man be ashamed of his underwear,
Yeah.
But like,
I also think it's funny that people on that side are getting mad, saying, "Oh, well, it's because people just love it so much they won't stop talking about it." And then they compare this to something like Man of Steel, which is the community that has never stopped talking about that fucking universe. They still talk about it to this day, but they never get called out on that. But if people love a movie that just came out, oh no, worst thing ever. It's like the Snyder community has not let that shit go, and it's been years since Snyder left.
I mean, look, we know that there's not that many of them, because if there were, then those movies would have been successful.
True.
Period. It's just like they're a loud minority that just won't shut up because it's the only way they've ever gotten attention in their little lives.
Everybody loves and excited for the new Rebel Moon movie, right?
Yeah, they really backed that. They were so hyped for Snyder. They loved Snyder so much that they pumped that movie up.
And I think
those might be those. I was just gonna say those might be the most chore-like movies to watch ever. They were so rough. They were.
And I think we've all made this point before, but the only metric for a film as to whether it was good or not is, did you enjoy it?
Yep.
There is a secondary metric now with these franchise films of, did it make enough money that the studio wants to make another one?
And it was Sunday morning that I could tell that was yes. Sunday morning, I looking at the projections for the rest of the weekend. Not just that, but the critics scores, because as we talked about, like, if it, give or take, it's not that far off par from Man of Steel, right? And what that made, but that, you know, and they'd already planned on launching a universe based on that, but nonetheless, you know, whenever Batman versus Superman came out, and it, you know, made a lot of money the first weekend, but then it had no legs because everybody heard that it was bad, and nobody went and saw it again. The critical scores, the audience scores were abysmal, and they fucking freaked out because, of course, they were already making Justice League at that point. But I bet if they weren't already making Justice League, they would have put the brakes on it completely. You know, and
Man of Steel has its issues, but BVS was just a fucking shit show. I'm sorry, I did not like that movie.
I mean, the Ultimate Cut's marginally better. It's a little bit better for
it still
Clark.
sucks in my opinion.
You know, but yeah, great. But I want to point out a couple of posts. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just all of these metrics that they're trying to use to justify this movie failing is because all of the other ways they've tried to criticize movies in the past have all fallen away. The critic score is good. The audience score is good. It's not coming off the success of another film, unlike Man of Steel, which was riding on the success of Dark Knight Rises. It stands alone.
100%.
It stands alone in an arena where DC were on the floor. I mean, I think was it you, Eric? That looked at
actually,
the fact that
Ryan,
its first weekend its first weekend outperformed the last like 5 or 6 DC EU movies.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
In totality.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
like Aquaman, all those older movies, their entire box office run was beaten by the first weekend of Superman.
To try and act like to erase those from history, fucking Blue Beetle, Aquaman, The Flash, you know what I mean? To act like those were, I mean, that this is a bomb in any way, shape, or form, but also to try and put that, if those are bombs, then what the fuck is this? Like, it's clearly successful. It's a successful film. It's just as successful as they expected it to be, and maybe a little bit more so. And it's still, you know, depending on the legs that it has, could go on to be even more successful. And I think it's probably got, you know, great word of mouth. And I mean, I recommend if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you've already seen it and you want to see it again, do that because, you know, it deserves it.
Yeah, I think I think you guys were kind of already following up on it, but yeah, just the atmosphere for DC movies when 2013 came out, Man of Steel, was actually fairly positive. It's tough to think of that now, but it was fairly positive. It was like, okay, let's see. You know, they did the dark gritty Batman. Let's see what the dark gritty Superman will be like. You know, there's some excitement for it. DC has been down the dumps for years now. For this movie to perform as well as it did, it's impressive.
And let's be real. Part of the reason that they didn't know what to do with it from moment one is that it's not a Disney movie. So their number one priority in all cases is to hate the Disney thing, right? They're going to do that for sure. Now, depending on whether or not they can use a Warner or another studio thing against the Disney thing, they will do that. They will absolutely, you know, prop that thing up. But the problem is, you know, Fantastic Four is not coming out for another couple of weeks. If they had dropped them in the same like weekend, basically, then you would have seen them blowing this, you know, and just sucking on this movie's fucking, you know, the whole time.
They're still trying. Some of them are still trying.
But like,
So,
I wanted to get the division.
Dane,
sorry.
Before you move on for a second, I want to ask you a question because we had the same thing happen with Rings of Power and what was it?
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. What happens if by chance Superman does a little bit better than Fantastic Four at the end of its run? How much you want to bet all of a sudden they're all going to be Superman fans?
We're calling it right now. I'm going to go ahead and say that we can safely, if that happens, if Fantastic Four doesn't do that well, they're going to be, you know, or even if it does, for like, if all this has to do is marginally better, and they're going to retroactively be in support of this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So that they can shit on that one and say, oh,
or if they love Fantastic Four, they're going to use it against Superman. It's like, this is the way it's going to work with them.
I don't think they'll ever go for a Disney product. I think that's just kind of like the main.
They went for Deadpool and Wolverine pretty decently. They went
because I feel like they had to, in the sense that like that was one that you know, it was just going to be so popular that they.
It was the old white guy movie, basically, is what
that is true. I mean, it like asking them to back up Pedro.
This has Pedro Pascal, right? Like they're as Jester Bell's talking about, they're totally character assassinating Johnny Storm. You know what I mean?
By making him a ladies' man.
By the way, I went back. I opened up my Marvel Unlimited app and I went through and I looked up some of the older runs of Fantastic Four and just kind of read through a few of them. I don't think I ever saw them until like a recent run try to make it so that Johnny was a womanizer. I don't think he was ever really portrayed that way. He was definitely a ladies' man. He was definitely a playboy, but there was not a lot of like vapid, disregarded relationships over his time.
That's important what you did yesterday, distinguishing what those words mean, because a womanizer is not a ladies' man.
No.
A womanizer is what Tony Stark was at the very beginning of Iron Man.
Yes.
Where you meet this chick, he doesn't even care that she hates him. He's just like gonna fucking schmooze her anyway. Then he's gonna take her and bang her, and then wake up. Before she gets up, he's gone. And then he has his Pepper Potts fucking kick her out to the curb, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a fucking womanizer. And then he specifically after that realized, oh, this woman Pepper Potts is actually a good woman.
Right.
Maybe I'm gonna like be kinder to her, and then their relationship blossomed from that. And he was still a ladies' man. He was Tony Stark. I don't think ever wasn't a ladies' man.
Right.
But yeah, a womanizer is somebody who literally doesn't see women as anything other than conquests.
Right.
And yeah, I don't want that. What kind of hero is that? Right?
Well, on top of that, though, you can't even retroactively say he was portrayed like that in any of the previous Fantastic Four movies because he wasn't. Michael B. Jordan was not portrayed that way, and Chris Evans wasn't portrayed that way.
No, it's just a guy that's fucking hot, and and irony is intentional. I think he's fucking hot, and ladies want to get with him, and he's like cool with that. He's gonna flirt with them. He's gonna and it's that recent clip with where he's flirting with Silver Surfer that is what started all this, right? Is like made her try and retroactively.
Yeah, and I mean they went through the whole clip to show that he is a ladies' man. That was the point of that clip. Like they talk about at the beginning, Johnny loves the women love Johnny. Ben Grimm makes a joke about him, getting dumped again. Like there's these here. By the way, when Ben Grimm says you got dumped again or whatever, that is showing that he is not a womanizer because someone dumped him. It's the other way around.
But they took they took what was said about it. I think we all covered, me and you at least covered it back when it was said a few months ago, and they took that to mean a very specific thing that we knew then it wasn't going to be that they weren't going to change Johnny Storm to where there's like women aren't interested in him. He's not interested in women. The interesting, like I said in your chat yesterday, it's like according to somebody like Jester Bell, there's only two types of men: asexual and womanizer.
Right.
It's like you're either.
Well, the other thing is, and the misinformation is an overload. You remember? I mean, you guys obviously remember when you talked to the guy who thought that Star Wars called all their fans racist and everything because of all the misinformation coming out. There's a lot of people that believe a lot of things about this Fantastic Four movie that were never said. Like they think that they talked about toxic masculinity. Never in an interview did anyone on the cast mention toxic masculinity. Nobody ever said that. I went back and I read every single interview that I've covered on the Nerdcast. Never once did I see anything about toxic masculinity being covered by the cast.
They in their heads because what happened was, what's her name that plays Sue Storm said something about femininity, but she was as we then she wants to cover all these eras that Sue Storm has represented different versions of femininity, and that's actually a good thing, because it's not just feminism.
She basically, like, the headline made it seem like she was talking about like gender politics and things like that. And if you read the article, she says that she wants Sue to be more than just some like one-dimensional doormat. That was the point of the character. She wanted to embody the best of Sue Storm over every decade to try and make this performance authentic. They never read that part. They never read that portion of the article.
Yeah, they hate Pedro. That's one of the things. It's like you.
I mean that.
As we've seen any criticism. Go on, your turn, Bob.
I was just gonna say this chat came up, and I thought it'd be fun to discuss it because I think there's a clear answer. As much as they hate James Gunn, it's Pedro.
They can hate James Gunn for so much, but like he's white at the end of the day,
and he's less public facing. Pedro's an actor; he's gonna be much more public facing.
No one's more creative than James Gunn.
Sorry, what?
The other thing I noticed in the Jester Bell video that you covered, Eric, was her complaining that Joseph Quinn's too old to play Johnny Storm. And I mean, I think your point was good. Yeah, but 3 years ago he was playing a teenager.
Yeah,
right.
He's a high school kid. So,
and he did a great job.
Well, this is what happens when you don't like. It's very similar to the Shea Coulee stuff in Ironheart, right? The drag queen was in Ironheart. A lot of people, especially Jester Bell, were like, "This is the first thing she's ever been in." I'm like, "No, she's been in 3 fucking seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. She's had several TV appearances. She's been part of TV shows on Hulu. Just basic research. Like they just don't bother to do any of that."
If there's anybody that's ready to be in a show or a movie, even if they haven't really been in a show or movie, it's going to be drag performers. You know what I mean? Like it's
they're acting by nature. That's what they do for a living. But it was just stupid. Like the bare minimum research, like the Nerdrotic video that I looked at earlier today talked about rebooting Superman and mentioned Superman Returns, which isn't a reboot.
Nope,
Yeah,
it was a sequel.
true.
It was maybe like a requel.
That was actually
or something if you want to get real granular about it, right? Like it was
pretty sequel-ish, but yeah, there are elements that were kind of rebooted. But yeah, it was I think it was a bad call.
It's just one of those things where like they are purposely like they're misleading enough that they can just skate by it, and then their viewers kind of absorb it like a sponge, and then they go around and repeat it. Yeah.
So just a couple of real quick things I wanted to show here. Malkovich's been cut.
I'm pretty confident Malkovich said no, didn't he?
Oh, he hasn't been cut?
No, it was that he rejected doing the movie. That's what I heard.
Oh.
Either way, he's not in there. Red Ghost.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was a lot of rumor that he was going to be playing like an older Franklin Richards, which I guess
I know they were trying to get him, but like essentially,
No, they filmed it.
There was
He
an
was in
interview
the
where he
first
said
trailer.
he didn't want to do comic book movie.
He was in the trailer. That's right. Yeah.
Was
He
he?
was in the first trailer. Yeah, he was.
But
in
he
the
was going to
first
be, I guess, the
trailer.
Red Ghost, and now he's cut from it apparently. So.
Yeah, because apparently
Unless
it was a
LaRue
montage.
really is future Franklin Richards.
Well, Jester Bell said that the reason why they shortened the movie is because of Sue Storm, though. So, I mean,
what?
Yeah, she said they had to redo the ending because nobody likes Sue Storm being the leader of the team. So,
I'm sure she has some insiders who told her that too.
You notice that where she's wearing her fucking lame ass Walmart American flag
I
shirt.
did see that. I couldn't. I had to make a comment about it yesterday. It was like,
"Hey, chuds, I'm trying to get you on my side here. That's why I'm saying all this misinformation and bad takes." Here's my American flag. But like, look at this. I'm really conflicted with this movie. You know, and it's like, well, maybe that's because you're part of a community that's telling you that you shouldn't like it, but you probably do, right? And then, yes, it's true. EFAP are being killjoys about Superman movie, but it's also true that they're right. Come on, guys. Wake up. Wake up. Then you got, Dean Cain being a fucking moron here, as he does. It's not even the right arm.
Yeah, it's just so stupid. Like, Dean Cain, man. Like, you already showed the clips earlier. Like, so much hypocrisy.
Last was a big miss. This is the one about Superman. Let's see.
I think people want to be happy. They don't want to be miserable about movies anymore. And I think this community is dying out on that.
It's their job to say this thing is bad and it's objectively bad. They gave it like a 2 out of 10 or some shit like that. And it's like, come on. Even if you didn't like the movie for various reasons, I don't see any way you could call this movie a 2.
That was the thing about Shea Diversity's review. He prefaces it. He talks for about 5 minutes about how much he enjoyed the film and how much he really did like the way they portrayed Superman, and then gave it a 3 out of 10, and then explained why. And more than half of his reasons were things that he missed that were explained in the film. Like his big thing is, why didn't Lex kill Superman earlier? I mean, like, it turns out that even when they spell it out for you in the film about why characters do things,
have you guys have you guys noticed in some of the communities, like on the Mauler subreddit and places, there's a term about like cinema literalism is killing entertainment. Like the idea that everything has to be looked at, like everybody would make the best possible decision in every situation so that there's never any kind of conflict. Like you would say, well, why doesn't this character do this instead of this other thing? And it's like, because in the moment they didn't think about that. You know what I mean? Like that's why they did it. Go ahead, Dane. Sorry.
An example I've talked about before. I remember they were talking about this.
Dane, you're bottoming out there.
Oh, check. Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
It's something like Terriers or something where somebody was a career criminal that they were reviewing, and the guy breaks into a house in the middle of the night or at night or whatever, and he's like trying to grab something and get out unseen, and the people come home while he's in the house. And he's like, oh shit, and he scrambles and he like drops something, his tool or whatever, and then gets out without being seen, but he left something behind. And there was like apparently the EFAP and the community were like just saying it's terrible, objectively bad writing because a career criminal wouldn't have made that mistake. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Career criminals make mistakes all the time. That's how they get caught.
Human beings They're fallible. Human.
I don't know if it's like an overinflated ego or if they just think that they're cleverer than they are. But I mean, anyone who involved in crime detection will tell you that any criminal makes at least a dozen mistakes without even thinking about it. They will think about covering their tracks in certain ways and then completely forget in other ways. And that's how they get caught.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is you would argue that Lex would be smart enough not to be who he is. Like if you go to the core of it, why would he be an awful person doing all these awful things if he can apply his intelligence to just being a good person? Like you could argue that why would he make that decision? You know what I mean?
If he's that smart, why doesn't he engage in the best therapy that the world can offer?
Right.
I mean, he literally admits that he knows that he's got an envy problem in the movie. Like, I was surprised about that, but not in like a bad way. I was like, oh, that's refreshing. He's fully aware of what he's a piece of shit. He's just
no, 100%. I mean, the ego, like, this is why context and media literacy matters, is because you're watching the movie. Like, for example, the scene where Superman and Lois are talking while the Justice Gang is outside fighting in that apartment scene, right? That scene. The moment between Lois and Superman is for the adults. The stuff in the background is for the kids, and it's keeping everybody focused on something while the scene is happening, so that there's no break for the children to not be interested in the movie. Because a lot of the kids in the theater were just going, "Oh, look at that thing in the background, everything," and all the adults are listening to like Clark and Lois have this conversation. So there's a lot of really interesting choices in there where they would go, well, why would this just be going in the background? It ruined the scene and blah, blah, blah. No, there was a purpose behind that. You just have to think for a second why that exists the way it does. And if you went and you saw it in a theater instead of watching a rip on the internet, you would have been able to experience what it's like to be in the theater with other people when these things are happening, so that you understand why they're in the movie in the first place. Watching a movie by yourself on your computer does not give you a proper experience of what the crowd thinks about a movie. You don't get to see it because you're not there when it's happening.
It's also the kind of comic fidelity that they've been crying out for, because stuff like that happens in comics all the time when there's some weird shit going on in the background and characters are having a conversational moment.
I've read comic books. Superman does not pop up to fight every single supervillain that pops up. There are other heroes who are
that's the thing. He trusts his friends, the people that he's friends with. That's the thing. And maybe they don't realize what trusting friends is about. But like, just because he is the most powerful one doesn't mean that he has to be there for everything. Right. He can trust that. His pals are gonna,
you could tell from the way he talked about it. It was like, yeah, that's not that big a deal. They got this. I'm not concerned.
Like, if they wouldn't be his friends if he just showed up literally everything that happened and took over from them and was like, I'm going to handle this. They'd be like, you fucking asshole, you condescending prick.
But it's also very smart, because what's happening there is he's building trust with these other people that did not trust him, right? Yeah. Because if you have someone that you're working with and you're like, oh, you got this, you're good, I trust you, and they go off and they do it and they do a great job, then they end up trusting you in return. That's why you do that.
And that addresses, now that I think about it, that addresses a really important problem with creating a Superman film, is that why wouldn't he just be there to stop everything? If he can fly fast around the world and he can stronger than everything, then why wouldn't he be? Well, that's the fucking perfect explanation and characterization for why he wouldn't literally be there for everything. But yeah, they don't understand that. They don't want to. I'm trying to find this one meme that really depicts this whole thing about Mahler perfectly. But it's basically like, it's the image of the kid, the butterfly, and he's like, is this a, or whatever, and that's the template, but it's Mahler, and it's like, is this objectivity? And it's like, but what it is, just it's a word block where I put, post hoc rationalization of opinions you'd hear from a teenager who doesn't have any lived experience. That's just what I hear. Is like, oh, $5 for somebody.
Super Jones Bro, $5. I think it's my channel. If it is, thank you. If not, thank you for somebody else, I guess. No, it is my channel.
And I don't.
It is my channel.
Names. I don't think
Gary Will Griff Eddington, a movie about a C-19 response. The Fellowship cannot let go of their hang up over C-19. It's a side effect of MAGA brain rot. Really?
Yeah, it's been which video? I've seen one video where they talk about it, because Pedro Pascal's in it. It's Joaquin Phoenix. It's
an Ari Aster movie.
Yeah.
Yes, Ari Aster. That was the director. Yeah.
I didn't realize they were so hung up on it. I guess they talk about it on live streams and stuff like that.
Gary
they don't have it, but not from that circle. No.
Gary is hugely hung up about it. He still mentions it in his videos, even. I can't remember the last one I saw of his where he was mentioning it. It's completely out of context. But yeah, he is obsessed with it. Because despite the fact that he says he loved the fact that he got to move out of California, he doesn't stop talking about the thing that meant he had to move out of California, which is kind of weird. There you go.
Yeah, I guess their C-19, like the response to that has been pretty ongoing. I know they talk about it, mention it here and there, but yeah, it's crazy.
And who was present during the shutdowns, Gary? Just wondering.
Right. I mean, look, he spent $400,000 on his house in San Antonio. That's pretty good deal. But oh, sorry, did I say that on?
But here's the thing: that all of these people who do this, or why didn't this smart guy do this other thing instead of the thing he did? And it's like smart people make mistakes all the time. Stupid people make mistakes.
I mean,
not Mahler.
I dealt with the same type of stuff when talking about Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Why Doctor Strange do this? Why Doctor Strange do that? Because he's got a fucking ego on him. It's one of his most famous failings. Much like Lex Luthor, who in my opinion has a much worse ego, which is why he's a fucking villain.
I don't even think you have to go that deep, although obviously that is applicable in these cases. Oh, another pizza?
No, but I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm stopping by to grab peace. So,
but yeah, even the smartest people in the world have blind spots where you can catch them out. I mean, where they will fall for like something so simple that most people wouldn't. Just little blind spots, and that's fine. But
that's being human.
Yeah, Mahler doesn't understand the meaning of the word. He's got a robot brain.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, Mahler definitely does have an ego.
But another one of Shea Diversity's brief complaints was that he couldn't understand why Superman didn't just laser all the cameras that were around Ultraman in their fight rather than get Crypto to attack them. And this Ant pointed it out that it's just the same result from two different actions.
Yeah,
it's exactly why did he do this one thing to do this thing instead of doing this other thing to do exactly the same thing? It's bizarre.
It was still done, yeah.
And I think
Lex's ego is not a superpower. His intelligence is a superpower, but his ego is what is kind of the thing that he can't let go of that comes along with it, right? He's there are plenty of stories that depict, not this one, and I'm glad for it. There was nothing redeeming about this piece of shit Lex Luthor. It's great. No. But like there's plenty of excellent stories where it shows that there is a bit of humanity in there, and he'll see his mistakes and stuff, and you know those are good too when written well. But
this is another thing about some of the press that I've seen around this, about people praising it because Lex is just unrepentantly evil, and it's so nice to have a bad guy that's just evil and that doesn't have a sad tragic backstory or whatever. And yes, that is true in this case, but that doesn't mean every villain from now on has to go back to the villains how they were before. Why can't we have variety? Why can't we have Thanos with his sort of semi-understandable backstory, and Lex Luthor, who is just a piece of shit?
There always seems to be like whenever there's a great villain, like Thanos is a perfect example. Thanos is a great villain. Generally, right at first, every single voice that said anything about Thanos was like, holy shit, he's the best villain since Darth Vader. But then pretty soon after that, you start to get to the dissenting opinions about it. People want to go the other way with it. And there's, he's actually, was the meme of like, actually he was, being a child is thinking the Avengers are right. Being a hero or adult is thinking that Thanos was right. That kind of shit. And it's like, no, because, he could have just as easily doubled the resources instead of half the people.
Yeah, he has this huge explanation as to why he has to do that and why he's doing the noble thing. But at the end of the day, he just wants to murder a whole bunch of people.
He's a cynical, fucked up guy who like that. The only thing he could possibly imagine was, to take away, which is why when Tony Stark gets a hold of the thing, he literally does the opposite. You know what I mean? And it shows the distinction between the two.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to double everything. Just snap his fingers and invent a replicator for everybody.
I'm sorry, it was actually Bruce Banner that did that. Now that I remember, properly. True. And the video that I made about that literally leans on that. $5 for somebody. They want Superman to be a symbol that deals with everything that he can, like AI Might from MHA. Oh, My Hero Academia. or something, except more egotistical or something. Yeah, I mean, Superman's not egotistical though. Superman is. I mean, this movie depicted him perfectly. I think.
Yeah, I was about ready to say Superman and Captain America might be the least egotistical heroes ever.
Egotesticles.
Egotesticles.
Testicles. Yes.
The fight back against
an
the
ego about
MCU.
I will say this:
Egotestical.
that the kids were loving crypto at the theater. I've seen it twice now.
Yeah.
Both times
Who
the
didn't
kids
love
love
crypto, let's
crypto.
be honest.
I think that the kaiju was cute enough as a giant kaiju that they also really thought that was cool. I think this movie did something that the DCEU was never capable of doing, which is spanning like an entire decades of ages, which is something that the DCEU could never capture. So
they've struggled with since basically the original Superman movie.
And I think something else it did, which I think is why it's catching out so many of these chuds, is that it was silly and camp. Not too camp or not too silly, but it was. And they don't know how to deal.
And it was earnest. That's another thing. That's the main thing that I take from it is like these chuds are so fucking cynical and they thrive on cynicism. They feed their fucking audiences cynicism all the time. And look, we can be cynical here and there. We're not immune from it, but like that's why part of the reason why Superman's such a fucking breath of fresh air, because he is not, and he's just not. He is earnest and sincere, and it comes off kind of dorky, but like, dude, we fucking need that in this world right now. Like,
I also want to point out Metamorpho was incredible.
Yeah,
he was great.
Incredible. Mr. Terrific, incredible. And when Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers did like hashtag Black Lives Matter with Mr. Terrific, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here?
You're just like paint a sign on your fucking head that says racist.
I mean, what the and then somebody argue with me, how is that racist? I'm like, what does that have to do with Mr. Terrific other than the fact he's a black guy? Like,
there's literally nothing in the movie about him being a black guy or anything like that. It just
they never even addressed that.
Now, super mild spoiler. I just love the fact that this is a Superman who will stop fighting to save a squirrel.
Yeah, actually, like that might seem like to somebody that's not really knows what they're looking at. Like, why did it show that? Well, no, that's a very important fucking moment in the movie.
Yeah,
it's very important because he will absolutely save that squirrel.
I mean, it just goes to say that these guys, when they say they want something different or they want something more classic, they really don't. Because Superman of the old days would save cats and trees and stuff. Like that's who the character is.
I mean, yeah. Other than doing literally that, which I'm glad that James Gunn avoided that trope. He had him save a squirrel, and it's really good. Was the squirrel Chip? Is that one of the? Is that the Green Lantern squirrel?
Yeah,
we're talking about.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway.
Oh, by the way, Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern was incredible. I thought he did a great job.
He had just enough charm to make you not completely hate him, because Guy Gardner.
I wonder if Chariot is Superman. Hey, Chariot. Hello.
Hello.
Uh-oh, Chariot. Hey.
It's good to see all of you.
How's it going?
So, who was your favorite character, and why was it the squirrel?
Our internet connection over here has been a bit rough.
Yeah, why was your favorite character in Superman the squirrel, Chariot?
The squirrel. My favorite character in Superman was probably Supergirl. I like that cameo at the end. I mean, mostly I just like the character of Superman himself.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like Superman was my favorite character in Superman. I mean, I've seen
probably if I'm not going with Superman, I'd go with Mr. Terrific.
Oh, Mr. Terrific. Yeah, I mean, I like Nathan Fillion's performance is really good. I like what's the name of the character who's the boss at the
Perry White.
Perry White.
Yeah, he's got the cigar.
Yeah.
He was funny. I liked him.
Did you like Ryan Kennels?
Oh, the girlfriend. I completely...
a negative grift, guys. I'm out.
Yeah. What is that clip from? What is that audio clip from?
Oh, that's from.
a negative grift, guys. I'm out.
It was him freaking out because somebody was simply pointing out the box office numbers for Thunderbolts or Brave New World. Essentially just pointing out that it made more than its budget.
I think it's Thunderbolts. I think it was Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
I want to add that real quick. I just want to say that I paid $30 fucking for Thunderbolts. Okay, and gladly paid. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that when we talk about these movies make more money on streaming as well, and they include that, we're not talking about they're selling $5 tickets. These movies are selling for $30 fucking on streaming, and I gladly paid it.
That's another thing, is that the adjusted for inflation never accounts for streaming revenue, which is something that they combine into their revenue for the film. So, yeah.
So anyway, sorry.
But I liked Superman. I usually, I'm not, you guys know me, I'm not like a big like superhero person, but it was James Gunn, and I liked the Batman as well. So I was like, maybe I will watch like a DC film. Maybe I will do that with my one human life.
Well, the one thing that they have now is, because they did fuck up for a decade basically while Marvel was hitting that out of the park. Now Marvel's, I wouldn't say they're stumbling, but they're kind of getting their getting their poop in a group again. And while they're doing that, DC has the perfect opportunity to just say, okay, all that they did, that's one type of way you can do it. Let's do it, and they're kind of going in the other direction from the Snyderverse, which is, instead of cynical and dark and brooding, it's like, let's be sincere and earnest, but also kind of campy, and lean into the bright colors and the goofiness of this whole thing. And
Yeah, I think
James Gunn is the best guy for that.
Yeah,
I think right now we're in the possibly the best environment, because this will cause DC really up the game on this one. This will cause Marvel to be like, well, shit, we need to up our game too. And
I actually think Fantastic Four is gonna.
That stuff. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you stopped there. You froze for me for a second. No, I was going to say that Fantastic Four is probably going to benefit from this as well, because it also looks to be leaning into more of the classic campiness of their comic books. So,
lately, it's showing it kind of doom and gloom. You know what I mean? The most recent round of trailers are like leaning into the Galactus is here, we're fucked kind of vibe.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem I've had with a lot of the superhero stuff is that, like, for a while, and I'm talking like at some point in between like the first Avengers film and before that, when they were making those the Christopher Nolan Batman films, in that period of like the superhero film culture, every time a superhero film came out, it like needed an extra justification. It needed to like sell you on why you were invested in the character to an extra degree, because I think there was this perception that like people don't find that shit normal, like there's a lot of self-aware humor in that stuff where it's like, oh, are you really wearing tights type jokes. But like the thing about that, in fact, I think that's in the Avengers, there's only one God and he doesn't dress like that type of stuff, which is good, because that's a good line. But I think we're in a different position now where like you don't really have to justify it. People are just going to go there and watch it because they want to see it. But at the same time, now there's a lot of stuff, and Marvel and Disney in general, I think they've done this with Star Wars too much as well, where like they're selling you on the idea that you're going to watch like a tie-in film and or show from a character who appeared in a few episodes of another film, or a few scenes of another film, or a few episodes of another show. And like, this works if you're a fan, and a lot of the people who hate it a lot will talk about it like they're real fans. So I don't get that. But if you're not a fan, I think it's a little bit tougher, because you're like, okay, who's this show about? What do I know her from? Like that type of stuff. That's how I felt about it. But like a Superman film does not need that. And in fact, I liked that they did the John Cena character. They had a cameo with him. I was like, oh yeah, I recognize that guy. If this was instead a movie about a side character from something he was in, I would not have gotten into it as easily. But it's the opposite, which is great.
I think the good thing about that cameo is, as well, is obviously this film is largely aimed at younger viewers. They will never know who Peacemaker is, probably.
And they don't need to.
No, because all they know is that he's a guy in a silly costume saying bad things about Superman. And
if you remember exactly what he was actually saying is also hilarious, because he's talking about the distinction between the edgy heroes and the goody two shoes guys, and it's like fucking James Gunn brilliance. And as great as a director as James Gunn clearly is, like his writing, his screenplays are fucking phenomenal, man. Like every single movie it seems like
superheroes.
Better.
I just want to jump in for those that care. I just double checked because I realized that the box offices for the week are pretty much done right now. Because they're going into the weekend. As of right now, estimates are that the movie has made around 320 million already. Going into this upcoming weekend. Yeah, globally. Yeah.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
That's really like Homer Simpson.
Because this next weekend has to be another big weekend for them, because after this they're going to be up against Fantastic Four. So
I'm looking forward to that one too. Am I crazy?
No
Am
matter-
I going nuts?
All right, we're rubbing off on you, Cherry.
We're
You
so
gotta break away.
Yeah,
We're
Fantastic
infecting you
Four
with our-
will knock it from the number one spot. There's no
for sure.
avoiding that.
Yeah, but they're saying here that the goal was to reach like 500, north of 500 million. If they're at 320 something now, whatever it is, with
they're gonna do it.
Estimate, they will. If this weekend is they said it's like a 55% drop in ticket sales, which is crazy. That's
a very good drop.
That's actually a very good drop for superhero movie.
So I mean, I think it will reach the 500 million by the end of this weekend, which is what they really want the movie to do. So,
but anybody that's not aware, anytime you see these chuds being like, "Oh, it had a 67% drop, a 72% drop," that's most movies. Like the vast majority of movies have that after opening weekend. That's why they focus so much on opening weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big thing with Marvel too, because Marvel, like the big thing with Marvel is like they get people out to the opening weekend because they don't want to get it spoiled, so they rush out to opening weekend, and then they've already seen it, so they don't just go watch it again. You know.
Just to throw up the overseas department here to address the international box office not doing so well. Actually, it's if you look at the percentages, it's pretty much in line with what you would expect for a first superhero film. If you look, it's about 55-45 split, 55% US, 45% international, which is the same as Batman Begins. It's about the same as Iron Man. It's about the same as The Dark Knight. There's severe outliers with like Avengers Endgame, I think, did 69% of its money overseas, which is insane. But it's not underperforming internationally as much as people might think. I think they were expecting 100 and it got 95. So
yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, if anybody in the chat's on the fence about it, I don't really like superhero stuff, and this is one of my favorite superhero films ever. I think I like this more than the older Batman films.
You're almost guaranteed to walk out with a smile on your face.
It crushes. It's crazy how good it is.
Here, I'll go ahead and show this off because I know like they were talking about how it was underperformed, how it did well domestically, but underperformed internationally. However, it looks like maybe it's switching because looking at the numbers as the week has gone on, the international numbers have actually taken over the domestic numbers.
Oh,
they're a little bit
started
higher
getting
now.
wind of how good it is, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but there's other things going on in the rest of the world as well. Don't forget. For example, we had a heat wave this weekend where it was hotter than hotter than it's ever been. I think this certainly this year, hottest days this year, and people don't like to go to the cinema during the heat wave. Plus, it was the Wimbledon final this weekend. Plus, the Women's Euros, so it's become a pretty big tournament all over Europe. So there are reasons why, and those are just the things that I know of in the UK. So it's possible that people were waiting until they had time, and that they will even out. But
there's also staggered release schedules all over the world, so that
yeah.
I think I have to be honest, like, so that people, if you're an old head, you probably know that like in the old days of like the bread tube stuff, H Bomber guy was making a lot of videos, like a lot of smaller videos, and he had one that he made forever ago about the people burning their Nike shoes over Kaepernick and the Gillette throwing the Gillette razors out and all that stuff. I mean, same as it ever was, really. But he says something in that video that I was thinking a lot about, because I probably wouldn't have I waited like, when did the Batman come out? Like 2022?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
Right. And like I waited at least like a year and a half, if not like 2 years, to see that. I was just not mobilized for it. But I saw this like week of. I think a lot of like the rage baity content about it was part of why I did it, because I was like, dude, this kind of like, this is making all the right people angry. I saw an Israeli on Twitter have like a seething meltdown about it, because
I wonder why.
His read of it was that it was like anti like Israel. I think it's mostly just like anti-international violence, but I repeat myself. Like
anti, larger fucking well-off country bullying the fucking poor neighboring country.
It's anti-soldiers killing children, so maybe he's right. Like
Superman has this bold woke stance of being anti-genocide.
Yeah, just like, hey, maybe you shouldn't kill unarmed civilians and children. Maybe that's Superman, back off, buddy.
Woke motherfucker.
Superman gives where he's like, I'm just as human as anybody. That goes so hard. Like it's well done, but like also
Superman. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and by the way, I want to make videos about this film. Like I'm actually mobilized about this. But one of the things that I want to do is I want to make a video about the Ben Shapiro review. Because I know we made fun of it on the Shillcast when he was doing like the response to the teasers. His review is fascinating. He dunks really hard on the portrayal of Ma and Pa Kent. He says they live in like a crappy house. It's like a normal farmhouse.
Yeah,
it's actually kind of nice. Like they have a lot of nice stuff there.
Right.
That they have like a big field by their house. That he sits on a bench next to his father. It's a nice place to live.
I think my stepmother's parents are from. They literally have like the most picturesque kind of farmhouse situation. They've been passed away for a long time. But when I was a kid, we would go visit them, and it almost looks exactly like that. Their house, it was almost exactly this way. It was kind of fucking incredible. Like this is the most, to act like it's some kind of like insult to fucking people that live.
The whole thought that I had is like Ben Shapiro really hates his audience. Like the thing something I feel resentful about is like these conservative like critics and commentators fucking hate a lot of like the hicks whose money they rely on, like really they rely on money from ultra wealthy people. But
I wish that more people focused on that specific complaint, because obviously he does the thing about this isn't Israel Palestine for these specific reasons, but that is the core of I think the worst thing he says about this film, because they've talked for years about the Hollywood elites, the liberal elites, but here he is saying that these two normal people are like scummy, and there's got to be people in his audience sitting in a house very like theirs going, what?
It's such a mask off moment, because Ben Shapiro is like a trust fund baby elite. I've seen that video that he shared back in the day. It was a video of his sister like singing, and it's supposed to be like casual footage, but the house that she's in, for most people, that's what they think mansions look like. I think people who don't have that much money couldn't possibly imagine how lavish rich people have it. Like they sit on their like diamond encrusted toilets and shit. Like that's a joke, obviously, but when you see how rich people live, it's crazy. And this is like a low key example. This wasn't even like a super ultra wealthy like billionaire, but I knew this kid, and I went to hang out at his house when we were in high school. He had a neighbor, so it wasn't even his like, but there was a woman who lived in the neighborhood who never wore anything twice. Her husband made so much money, she didn't work. She stayed at home all day, and she just bought clothes and wore them once and like threw them out. These people have too much fucking money. Like that stuff, like growing up around stuff like that made me like the most hardcore like anti-capitalist ever, because I was like, bro, these people are crazy. The way that he talked, I was really disgusted with Shapiro when he said that. Like he was like, they live in, he was talking about them like they were roaches. Like they live in a disgusting house. It's like it's a crappy house, or however the fuck he said it. I was like, bro, that's how normal Americans live. In fact, like that's a multi-story house that they own. Most Americans, a lot of Americans don't even have it that good. So you're crazy for saying some shit like that. Big mask drop.
No,
it's no wonder the Daily Wonder has been fucking draining, going down the drain lately, but.
Yeah, but this movie actually gave us a Ma and Pa Kent, even though they don't have much screen time, so much better than Snyderverse version. Like a Ma and Pa Kent that doesn't go, hey, maybe let that school bus of kids drown. Little things like that. I appreciate that they don't say shit like that. I mean,
this Pa Kent wouldn't want Clark to not save him, and this Clark wouldn't not save him.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You don't even have to
know that.
this is like why conservatives had a thing about hating Bluey for a while, because like it teaches children boundaries and they fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
They hate that like a child would be treated like a human being. They love authoritarian parenting. And like this Pa Kent portrayal, dude, where he's talking to Clark and he's like telling him like, look, a parent isn't supposed to tell their child this. I'm paraphrasing, but like a parent isn't supposed to tell their child what to be or do.
He says, we give you the tools for you to make a fool of yourself, is what he says.
He's oh my god, a nurturing father. That's so crazy. No wonder they all hate him.
And I mean, I won't get into it, but like dealing with stuff with a teenager lately here in my house, and it's like, yeah, that hit hard, man. Because like, yeah, you can just give them the tool, the best tools, the understanding, the frame of reference that you can, that you think is best. Try to, give them values that are important, and otherwise, you can't fucking make them be anything. That was honestly an amazing theme to the story. That like, the fact that he, spoiler alert, but like the fact that he took that from the message, despite the garbled, messed up part not being that at all, apparently, that says who he is, right?
Well, the other revelatory thing about his reveal was how he starts it, which is talking about how in this version and in recent sort of film versions, Superman doesn't say truth, justice, and the American way, and that reveals to me that what he wants is people saying the words but not living by them. Because for me, this Superman exemplifies the American ideal without having to say the words.
Lived up to, and that's that's what Superman is about. Is like, and he's an aspirational character. He's not. We talked about this on Fapcast last week. That like, I don't relate to Superman the way that I can relate to Batman or Spider-Man or whatever. And I think it's intentional, because you're supposed to aspire to Superman the same way that Christians aspire to Christ. You can't ever be as good as him, but God damn it, you want to try, right?
Because as Pillar of Garbage has said many times, Superman is Jesus.
Yeah,
that's a famous quote from him.
And he just hammers home the point that Superman is Jesus Christ. Thank you, Pillar of Garbage.
He's done so many videos talking about it. It's so
I do want to say so we don't do it very often, but I have a sometimes podcast. It's if you go to like my YouTube channel, it's in like the linked like channels. Like I have secondary channels that I link at the bottom of the channel page, and it's called the Low Hanging Fruits Podcast. And I just do it very occasionally with some friends. But forever ago, I remember this was when Invincible, like the first season of Invincible came out. I talked a little bit about it on the show, and the thing that I remember saying and feeling is when I was talking about the scene where Omni-Man kills all those people in the subway, and like what I think the thesis of Invincible's character is in huge sections of the show, it kind of varies, but is that like the thing about human beings is that like you're not impossibly strong. You can't like punch through concrete with ease. You can't deflect a bullet. But like you do have remarkable strength. And this is to what you were saying, Dane. This is actually why I do relate to Superman, is like we have remarkable power. We have huge moral power. And I think that there's a responsibility to other people, like the scene where Superman is like arguing with Lois, right? It's so good. I love this movie of it where he yells, people were going to die. Like that's
his morality, right? Like,
yeah, the cool thing about Superman, I saw a few people say like, oh, they didn't like this film as much as they would have because Superman gets beaten up a lot. But like, I actually like the idea that this is a dude, he's not like totally invulnerable. He's not all powerful.
I mean, that's one of the things that just for a long time people have said that it's so hard to tell a good Superman story because he's so powerful, you can't beat it. It's like, no, James Gunn was brilliant to fucking make sure in the trailers and everything to show this Superman can get his ass kicked, and he needs a hand sometimes, right?
Yeah, but he has moral fiber.
Yeah, also keep in mind, like the kaiju fight. The reason why he was struggling with that isn't because it was a particularly hard opponent. It was because he was doing it with no casualties. He was protecting everybody around there.
I have some really surprising news here. Apparently, I don't know how I fucking misunderstood this. Pillar of Garbage's videos are all about how Superman is not Jesus. Holy shit.
What the fuck?
I didn't. I'm sorry, Pillar. I fucked this up, man.
Also, like, I just
I don't know who
say,
Pillar is anymore. I don't.
I'm glad that a bunch of people are like acknowledging that Zack Snyder's films are kind of overrated. Because for the longest time, like I really just said that I kind of liked Sucker Punch. I kind of thought that it was like a creative concept. And I don't really like that much other stuff that he's done. And in hindsight, I really hate 300. I was kind of young when it came out.
There's a lot of stuff in Sucker Punch that's really
Yeah.
problematic, but you can at least see that he was trying to do something, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a film
kind
that's
of
alternatively
imaginative to a
like
degree.
it's a film that reads to me as alternatively like kind of misogynistic, but also like kind of like anti-misogynistic. It's like weird. It's a weird fucking film.
It's really weird. Yeah.
I think an argument can be made, and I'll actually throw two filmmakers here, that both Christopher Nolan and Zack Snyder, a lot of their older stuff isn't aging particularly great. With a big difference being that Christopher Nolan is pushing himself as a filmmaker. Yeah, people think he's great, but he still is pushing himself as a filmmaker. He still is trying to do the new thing, where Zack Snyder still does the same shit and is just getting fucking worse and
my thing
worse.
is, I would argue that. So yes, Christopher Nolan's stuff, like in The Dark Knight, where like he's, you know, the fucking Batman police state of like looking over everybody's cell phone, like that's very much, you know, people argue that is pro neocon, and I will just say that like I don't necessarily think that's pro neocon as much as just here's Christopher Nolan presenting this version of Batman, and here's what he does. How do you feel about that? And that's maybe that's a cop out, but that's kind of how I see it even whenever I watch it back these days. It's more like he's just presenting this and not advocating for it, right?
Ironically, like Dark Knight Rises is more accurate to the idea of like a Jesus superhero than Man of Steel is. Man of Steel has a lot of Jesus symbolism, but it's a really kind of stupid and evil version of Jesus because it's like the thing about like Dark Knight is that like it's first of all he literally ascends in the film, but he also like the idea of Batman is sacrificed. Jesus, I don't know if people know the story of Jesus. They killed that guy. He's a martyr. That's why he's supposedly like the height of morality. Like Christian morality holds martyrdom up as like a kind of a big deal. So like
I had got to the last chapter yet. Shit, guys.
The zenith of Superman's Jesus moment is that he kills, not that he dies in Man of Steel. Whereas like actually Pa Kent in that film is more of a Jesus figure because he's all about like he sacrifices himself. Like it's just
dumbest
crazy.
Reason. Just saying.
Yeah,
it seems like weird maybe being rated by size audience, and if so, then welcome. Thanks.
Yes, welcome indeed.
Whoa,
I
yeah,
don't know who
definitely.
this guy is, but hey,
I'm
now,
glad
baby.
we're talking about this because Zack Snyder, like by all accounts, seems like a really nice dude. I have nothing like bad to say about him personally, but he has made several films that I watch and I was like, this is genuinely like quasi-fascist. Like
confounding, right? It's fucking confounding some of the choices he makes.
He's very pleasant. I think he's very earnest, but he's also very politically naive. I don't think he's very clever politically in sort of in art or in life particularly, because I know he wanted to make the Fountainheads because I think he's a big sort of Ayn Rand fan without and really sort of understanding the full extent of that sort of the idea. Because I don't know if you guys know the band Rush very well, but they got a bit randy and at one point. They thanked Ayn Rand for one of their albums, but that's because they were also, I think, politically naive, and they saw the positive of what she said and ignored all the selfishness.
When life is going great for you, it's really easy to see what she's saying is having some kind of fucking merit, right? Like,
I think.
Well,
it's
also one of those things where it's like I feel like if you're a kid and you're into Ayn Rand, it's probably just a phase. If you're older and you're into Ayn Rand, then you probably don't even know what you're talking about. Like you probably haven't really delved into it or thought about it anyway, somewhat, because it's like her shit's garbage.
I will say, like, if you were gonna do a film where Superman is Jesus, it would have to be like the death of Superman. Like that's the only thing I can think of. Because again, like the whole thing about Jesus is it's like redemption through he redeems other people through through personal sacrifice.
And like saying Zack Snyder did that and it sucked.
Well, like the version of that we got from the Snyderverse, that version of Jesus Superman, like they do kill Superman later on. But it's weird because like Man of Steel is like the Superman is Jesus like thesis statement of that version of like the DC universe. And it's like the big moment for Superman in that film is he kills Zod. And that's like it's first of all,
well, the
just
other
like
big moment is that he
reiterating the Dark
allows his
Knight,
father to
like
die, too. He
that's what
allows his father to die. That's the other one.
Yeah, but like that's I think that he in that scene it sets it up like he's doing it that because he's told. In the scene where he kills Zod, he's doing it because he feels like he has to. Like that's it's an affirmative choice.
Yeah.
And I remember when that film came out, like I think there was like a Zack Snyder interview where he talked about like being interested in the idea of like putting Superman in the situation where he would have to kill. And I'm not against that.
I'm not against it at all, but like actually fucking explore it instead
It
of what
should have been written better because, like, I mean, they'd already showed that they've shot laser eyes at each other already at that point, and it shows that it doesn't penetrate their skin. Therefore, he had his hand right there. He could have turned his head, put his hand over his eyes, flown him straight up in through the ceiling, and gotten him out of there. Anything. There's so many other options, right? But like, just I gotta kill this guy. I'm tired of fighting.
And I think that goes to how Parr and Park Kent were portrayed in that version as bad parents, because they clearly never showed Superman a Three Stooges film because he could have just.
That's so true.
The thing that drove me nuts about like the Pa Kent death is that for me that should have been the moment that Superman said he told me he didn't want me to save him and I didn't and I fucked up. I fucked up and I need to do better. But he didn't do that. He didn't
learn a fucking thing.
Yeah. I just think that like, you know, because somebody pointed out the thing that I said in chat that later on they do kill Superman, and like I'm not inherently against any of the things that I'm describing, but like the way that it comes together is like the most baffling film. There's stuff from Man of Steel. The first time I saw that film, I thought it was all right.
Me too.
And there's scenes in it that I still think are good. I still like the scene where he saves the guys in the oil rig. I just like it. I think it's good. I like the scene where he mangles the guy's truck. I think that's funny.
It's good, right?
Yeah, well, I like Henry Cavill also. Like so you know, to me, I was never like against any of this stuff. But I think it's a lot of this is downstream from the stuff that I really hate from Snyder, which is like 300 and stuff like that. I have to say that one of these days I'm just gonna need to relitigate that beef because holy
what a
shit.
that movie is, right? Like
that's also that movie is crazy homophobic for no reason. Like
Xerxes is just this big old queer, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Xerxes." It's like, oh, the evil guy.
Also, like it's oh my god. Sorry, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I'm sure you're probably about to say something similar, but the weird thing about the homophobia in that movie is for anybody who knows Spartan's history. The real history.
I was almost
not just homophobia, but like child buggery.
In the scene where like where the infamous scene where he Sparta kicks him, which is where that term comes from. He kicks the Persian emissary into the big pit. Which like crazy to just have a big fucking pit in the middle of your town and city. That's just dude, get OSHA on that. That's crazy.
I keep a big pit in the middle of my place, don't you?
No, I mean, don't.
Somebody walks by and I'm like, I don't like you. Bam.
I will say that film gave us Meet the Spartans, which is a very like one of those very underrated scary movie style films. That they overused that joke in that. So I will grant it that. But yeah, no, and the thing is, in the scene where they're debating with the Persian emissary, Leonidas is like, "You threaten my people with slavery and death." He just walked him past a field of the fucking helots. Like they own slaves.
Yeah.
That's so great. Like it's literally the only explanation for that is that he thinks he just comes from a better people and a better civilization. I wonder why conservatives like that film so much.
Conservatives like I mean they will argue for slavery in the Bible, right? And say that was actually like okay compared to other slavery. You know?
And I think that goes to Snyder's naivety, where he probably read the original graphic novel and just took it at face value. Yeah.
I mean, I have to think that Frank Miller understood that he was doing like a very, stylized, not even remotely accurate, really, version of the Spartan, culture, which was, for anybody that's not aware, like the Spartans, they were assigned essentially a young boy to train. But they didn't just train these young boys; they also slept with these young boys, and I mean, as in technically raped them. You know, and they lived together more than the Spartans lived with their own wives. They would, you know, it was a whole messed up thing.
I will say a couple people in chat have pointed out that like it's Frank Miller, I believe, who did the graphic novel. That explains a lot, to be honest. Like so,
and apparently Frank Miller based it on the original 300 Spartans film from the I think the 50s or the 60s. So
You know, somebody pointed something out the other day that I thought was so. If anybody has any, if you hear see any Snyder Bros just complaining about James Gunn and saying, "Oh, Snyder would have been," just remind them that both of Snyder's most successful films had James Gunn's name attached to them.
Also, like, do we remember the release the Snyder Cut thing? What a fucking nothing burger that was. Like, it did not make that film that much better.
I will say that I did enjoy it. I watched it over the course of 2 days. I did enjoy what it was for what it was. And I was specifically looked at it as like an Elseworld Justice League story. I did like it generally.
I think it is better. I think it is way, way over long. Like there's so much shit on there where it's like you need to cut that.
Yeah, like we don't need the Aquaman song where the lunar singing to Aquaman. Get the fuck out of here. Shut that.
Well, even more noteworthy. Do we need to see the entire shot of Lois walking to the coffee shop, ordering her coffee, getting her coffee, and leaving?
Well,
like,
otherwise,
all of that. Do we need
he's sexist because he didn't have enough women in the movie?
Oh
you know?
yeah. Otherwise, she's got to pop up coffee. We're not gonna know how she got it. What the fuck?
Right. I mean, EFAP would have torn that shit apart. Where did she get the coffee?
Yeah.
I do have one criticism of the new Superman film, though, and I think it's not the film itself, but rather some of the marketing. I think it was a bit. They've over commercialized it just a bit too much, and I think they've just put out a bit too much merchandise this time.
I like that. I mean, that's
which
cute.
is something I disagree with.
Subtle.
I do
have to
say,
disagree with you, Brian. I just can't fucking agree with you on that fact. I'm sorry.
A couple people in the chat have pointed out Dawn of the Dead, and I think this is probably unpopular. The original Dawn of the Dead is better.
Oh God, I 100% agree. That's one of the things. People always bring up the remake of Dawn of the Dead, and I think it's an entertaining, fun zombie movie. But like the original is a fucking classic. The original had something to fucking say. Like it is. That's probably my favorite zombie movie.
It's just
to be honest.
it's just typical Snyder stuff where like his Dawn of the
a
Dead
Snyder
has
movie
some
that
good
doesn't have
scenes in it, and then the rest of it is kind of like a fever dream with that weird sepia washout over it. I just don't understand. Like there's stuff in that film that's like provocative and memorable, and there's imagery and cool sequences and stuff. Like I there's things about it that have stuck with me, but like the thing about like some of those, I think like the first real three, it's like Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead's my favorite.
Yeah, Day of the Dead's great.
But those three films are just great. They're phenomenal. And I just think that like if you have enough like really dedicated extras and good enough special effects, anybody can make a zombie film that has some good scenes in it. You know, like this probably sounds rude, but like it's just kind of riding the coattails of both like the genre and like the other stuff. Also, rewatching that film is tough because I keep like laughing at like the scenes with like the lead actress in it because she reminds me a lot of like I mentioned the Scary Movie films earlier. It just the way she emotes in the film really reminds me of like the female comedian who's the lead in those
Anna Faris.
In those films. I don't know. It's just tough.
Can I just say this is a complete coincidence, but I uploaded a video earlier that's a bit of a promo for the Sunday Fapcast that I do on my channel. But I'm going to play this the first couple seconds. This is definitely going to, you guys might want to, I don't know, cut this out of your streams on your channels because it's going to get copyright claimed. It won't get you struck or anything, but like, this is just a weird coincidence. Something that is in Dawn of the Dead that I used in this video upload earlier because I'm talking about, well.
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness.
The Richard Cheese version of Down with the Sickness. Anybody that's not familiar with Richard Cheese, seek him out. Listen, it's fucking great.
But I was going to say what you will about George A. Romero. He's not a perfect filmmaker at all, but he understood that like zombies are perhaps the least interesting part of a zombie movie.
Yes.
It's way more interesting to explore what humanity does in that situation.
I would say that superhero films are in much the same way. Like, I mean, not to say that they're the least interesting part, but like you can use superhero the trappings of a superhero film to tell a great story about something completely different. And I think the best ones are off of that. Superman being a good example. Although it is a great story about Superman, it's also a great story about, just not being a piece of shit to people. And
basic human empathy.
Right.
Yeah. I think part of my negativity on that one film, on Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, is that I just feel very like there's so much zombie stuff. I got to do a video about this at some point. I've been like, I've got the research material for a really good like zombie video, but I just have to make it. Like the thing about that genre is that it is so populated for good reason. But what that also means is that like, a lot of the stuff in that film, it's like action sequences, the stuff with the zombie.
Yeah.
The great memorable scenes from the George Romero zombie films aren't just they're not really action sequences. Even the ones where like people are shooting zombies, the majority of them that are really memorable, they're memorable because like you see somebody die in a really gruesome way, but the camera like doesn't cut, like you're just watching.
Like
and the inevitability
of guy in Day of the Dead that gets torn up, like it's one of the most memorable, like especially I saw it way too young probably.
Oh dude.
And he gets torn in half, and it's gruesome as fuck. But it's also that guy is a piece of shit, and you're like, all right, cool.
So all three of those soldiers in the ways that they die. Yeah.
Jump in here for a second. I have to jump out. I've been back, but then I had to go out, and then I came back again. But I have to jump out of here. So anyway, I have to go to work. So I will. I'll catch up with everybody later.
I meant to talk to you, Eric. Maybe we'll have to talk. I was in the comment section of that one video. I saw you pinned that comment from me. The replies to that comment are very funny. I want to.
No, they are. I have to go through and read them a little bit later.
Everybody, if you're not subscribed to Eric Debunks, he just hit 5,000 subs, but there's no reason to stop now. Keep that shit going up. Go subscribe.
Yeah, shout out. Let's do it.
Yeah.
He's linked in the description.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Everybody in my chat, be good or you're going to get timed out, and then I have to come through and find out if I want to let you talk again. So anyway, see everyone later. Bye.
Later, man.
Answering a question in the chat. Do Deadites count as zombies? Here's the thing about zombies. Is the original utility of the film is like the Haitian context of it. So in my opinion, like people say, oh, the Resident Evil stuff isn't zombies, or like this or that isn't zombies. They say about what's that? 28 Days Later. They just had another film in that series. They say those are infected, not zombies. It's all fucking zombies. It's the archetype. The zombie's an archetype.
That's the thing. I don't really think of Deadites as zombies because they function very differently.
Because the physics, the rules are completely off there's no rules really for Deadites. They can basically turn into whatever, they do whatever.
If you want to talk about 28 Days Later and 28 Years Later and call those zombies, I'm with you because they function the same as zombies, even though they're technically not dead. They're infected. They function as zombies. But Deadites do not function that way at all. They're just whatever the fuck.
Basically be saying that like the Thing from The Thing is a zombie because you can cut that thing up in all kinds of various ways and it's still going to keep coming at you. Deadites are the same way.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no like, oh, just destroy the brain or whatever. Okay, well, it'll grow a new brain in its asshole or something because it's possessed by evil. It doesn't matter.
What I want to say about that is like and I'm not as familiar, so like about the mechanics of it, I can't really say that much. But what I would reference is the 1932 film White Zombie. If you look at stuff like that, I think the older concept of the zombie was a lot more open. Now we have like very specific ideas about how zombies work.
Thanks
but like
to
me, because like a lot of like older ideas about zombies, it's like about like hypnotism and stuff, and like
I was
drug
say,
use and things like that.
The early ideas of zombies that come from sort of the Haitian cultures are more like the ones in 28 Days Later, where they're not the undead risen from the grave necessarily. They can be dead, brought back to life, but they can also be just people hypnotized. There are some super chats as well that we have missed.
Real quick, as far as zombie movies, I just want to say one thing, and if you've seen this movie, you're a hero, and I love you. It goes under different names depending on where you see it or whatever, but it's Peter Jackson's film Dead Alive. or alternately called Brain Dead. Excellent fucking zombie movie. And it is wow, it is a good one. You talk about some gruesome, gross, hilarious gore that if you want to see something that'll make you like gag and laugh at the same time, just watch that movie.
I kick ass for the Lord.
I kick ass for the Lord.
If you want to see something newer that, zombie adjacent, 28 years later, really fucking good, really fucking different, really.
So yeah, we got a few super chats that I guess I missed a couple of them. So there's one from Sean, maybe my channel, I'm guessing. $5. Do you think the engineer and mention of Planet Watch, Stormwatch, a hint of other Wildstorm characters? I mean, well, he had said that they'd announced they were going to do a Stormwatch thing, which I think maybe is taking different shape to something. I think maybe I heard it was going to be an animated thing now. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, because I know obviously the engineer it was supposed to be in the Authority movie, but to be what James Gunn is saying, his mantra for this is, despite what they might announce, that might change if they can't get the script right.
Fair. So, yeah, I mean that's great. Instead of just saying we're going to do this no matter what, right?
So that's why Clayface has been sort of fast tracked, because they got a good script to come in, and that's why
awesome.
Their version of Batman has been delayed, not just because of Batman 2, the Batman 2 being delayed, but also because they.
I did see an update about Batman 2, though. He was doing an interview, and someone asked him what is the favorite character that he doesn't know if he'll ever be able to do, but he wants to. He said Batmite, James Gunn. And he said, so he hasn't figured out how to do Batmite. He said maybe Matt Reeves has him in the new script. He just got the script for the Batman 2. He hadn't read it yet, but he says, Matt, if you got Batmite in that script, it's a go. Green light. So,
God, that'd be so weird in that universe. Oh my God. I kind of want to see it now.
Definitely amazing how Peacemaker self-projects himself on Superman when he's on the talk show. Kind of represents some grifters, if you know. Yeah. Just reading Superman Birthright at the moment, which I don't think I've read, but apparently there's somewhat some influence with the message from Krypton that's in this movie. Not to say too much about that, but and then Ben Shapiro looks like a grown-up Randall from Recess. I guess I don't know what he looks like. So
I think we're too old. I think we're a few years too old for Recess. All
right, but thank you for the 5. Was that pounds? What is that?
Euros. That's euros. I'm imagining from the name.
Thank you.
And I'm imagining from the name he's probably Irish. So thank you. If you are, if you're not, then you've got an Irish surname. Yeah, so I think
that's news, but yeah,
because they've cancelled the Sergeant Rock film because they couldn't work out the script. So I think I'm happy with whatever they put out. Keep putting out good films. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't care which ones come. I know some people. I saw someone saying where Creature Commandos fits into the timeline for Superman, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly, like this, Superman takes place after Creature Commandos. I would think this is as far as like Rick Flag Sr.'s journey, right?
Well, yeah, probably. But to be honest, I don't care about that sort of thing.
It really doesn't matter. Like it affects I don't know, and it doesn't fucking matter. I know who Rick Flag Sr. is based on Creature Commandos. I kind of generally know what he's about, and that helped a little bit with informing the character in the movie. But still, I don't think I would have lost anything if I didn't know anything about him. Right? So yeah. I feel like the age is a little bit weird for being Rick Flag Sr. Is that just me? Maybe a little too young.
Potentially. I'm not.
It's more obvious in this film because I did see that Frank Grillo said that he was supposed to have grey hair like he did in Creature Commandos, but he had just come off a TV show where he had to have black hair, so that's why he looks significantly younger with the dark hair. So I think we'll see him go grey.
They don't have technology yet to do that, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think they want to stay away from altering any hair on the head for any Superman project.
Right, yeah. we learned a big lesson. You know what? They just need to have it like once the Superman movies kind of play out, they get like 4 or 5 sequels down the line, and then the diminished returns. Like, let's do one more, and then we'll have him fight the Superman starring Henry Cavill that has the fucked up mouth with the weird special effects. We'll just do that and finally make those Snyder Bros happy, right? Yeah, and have Batmite in there too. Why not? Is he close to 60? But I mean, yeah, I guess so. And I guess what's his name's probably. I would think he's close to 45 though. Like,
Yeah, I'd
he's
think
not. He's not.
what?
I think he's only about 11 years older than Joel Kinnaman. I think.
You know, stranger things have happened, but you know.
Well, yeah,
I mean, Sean Connery played Harrison Ford's father, and there was only a 12-year difference. So
that's crazy. Wow.
And like I said with the Joseph Quinn thing earlier, actors' ages don't matter. It's the characters that they're playing are going to be a different age.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael J. Fox played Marty McFly in 1985 for 10 years nearly. So.
And Joel Kinnaman, you know, is great as Rick Flag. I wish he would have been able to be Rick Flag in more good movies instead.
It's wild. I did not like him as Rick Flag in the first Suicide Squad.
Right.
In the second one, I actually fucking liked him.
He's really the kind of actor I think that depending on who's directing him, whether he's good or not. Like, I liked him in Altered Carbon, the first season of that. He's very good in that, but like I hated him in RoboCop, not even just because it was a RoboCop remake that wasn't good, but because he wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't good. No.
That's the other thing I have to praise James Gunn for, though. I mean, like, I don't know if it comes down to that he's good at casting. I know that everybody on his film says that he makes sure that he doesn't hire people he doesn't get that won't have a good time. Basically, he doesn't like to hire assholes, but you can't always tell. But he manages to get great performances out of every single one of his actors.
True.
Well, I am going to have to take off here. I don't know if you guys want to continue on.
I don't. Yeah, I think we held the discussion points. I'll be live tomorrow though.
I did want to say one thing about the Superman stuff. I hear that they're working on a Wonder Woman film, kind of a reset for Wonder Woman as well, I believe. Which is going to be even funnier. The meltdowns around that are going to be conspicuous for no reason.
Maybe this is just like, I don't know, wish fulfillment, but it seems like James Gunn specifically just jettisoned Gal Gadot from like, you're not like, go back to fucking fantasizing about murdering kids or something. You're not going to be Wonder Woman, you know?
I don't even understand. Like Gal Gadot, okay, like it is a little odd that she was, sorry, not to be all Will Jordan about it, but like she was a model, right? Like,
yes.
You know,
but also
I would never impugn her work in the thing that she knows how to do, but I had never seen her in anything before she was in some of those bigger films, and everybody was like, "Oh, this woman just can't act."
James Gunn, no.
Like,
no.
No.
I just don't. I don't know. Like, I don't even know. I'm looking for this right now, actually, about that because I could have sworn she had said something about the Israel-Palestine conflict because she did serve in the IDF.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember she spoke out when October 7th happened.
Didn't she say something in support of Rachel Zegler, who spoke in support of Palestine?
Yeah, that whole situation was weird, despite what the church might have against Rachel Zegler, which is completely unfounded.
Last I heard, she was fairly Zionist.
Gal Gadot is Israeli and was in the IDF, but then everybody in Israel is because
everybody is,
so I think she's been fairly quiet on the subject. I think she has said some things, like you said, after October 7th, she said some things. I think she's been relatively quiet considering her position. And Rachel Zegler was very.
There are people who are from Israel who have not been quiet. Natalie Portman has been vocally anti-Zionist. So
it's, I don't know. She's weird,
and she seemed to get along with Rachel
Gal
Zegler.
Gadot.
Yeah, despite all the things that Zegler said that was not even pro-Palestine. I think this is pro-human. The thing she said.
Yeah,
Gal Gadot didn't. There seemed to be no animosity between them.
Listen, I'm not asking that. I'm not asking that you worship Palestinians and everything they do. Yeah, I understand they're kind of, they're kind of a country behind the times, probably because they get bombed a fucking lot. But
regardless,
all I'm asking is that you don't support children getting fucking murdered.
Right? Yeah, I mean,
I know it's a big.
That's about it.
I know.
And that was the other thing. Just before we go, I wanted to say about Superman is that I think what it really captured was that for years we've had excuses for murdering and going to war and killing and all of this nonsense, and it's complicated, there's nuance and all this. And I really like the fact that James Gunn, through the words of Superman, said it's not complicated. Don't do things that will kill people. And it's as simple as that. Stop killing people. I don't care how complicated it is. Do all the complicated stuff that doesn't involve killing people.
I mean, believe it or not, man, not everybody on this stream is just the gays, but that's okay. Like, here's the thing. We can be pro, people being who they want to be and being who they are and living, whether they're queer or not. But like, also we can be pro not killing children just because they happen to belong to a country where they're a little bit not tolerant of gay people. Like, it's possible to hold two thoughts in your head at once if you're not a fucking retard. Bye.
I mean, lots of people, like, you want to bring up the Palestinian educational system. There's all types of these criticisms, but it's like, yeah, part of that is that they're constantly attacked by the Israelis. There's no way for them to progress.
People act like this is a war between two powers. That's just not true.
No,
like Palestine barely even controls like its own amenities, like the water and stuff, Like that was the thing, is like part of this genocide has been like Israel shutting that stuff off. And like, which you're not like, there's allegedly supposed to be things like international law. There's certain things you're not supposed to do to people. And to me, like the thing that's conspicuous about this is like, I think actually Gal Gadot has referred to it as a war. I'm not exactly sure. But I know that when it was the Sunday after October 7th was a Saturday, and then the Sunday after, the next day, she posted and she talked about like the hostages and the Israeli victims of the attack, and she said, "I stand with Israel, and you should too. The world cannot sit on the fence when these horrific acts of terror are happening." Since then, we're coming up on like 2 years of the fallout around that, and to me, like the thing that's conspicuous is like the second an attack happens against Israel, it's condemned, but then everybody goes silent, And like the crazy thing as well is like there were Israeli news organizations that reported that some of the Israelis who were killed by the IDF. Where's the accountability?
Well, I mean, the fact is, when you turn on the news and you look at any kind of report about this, you're not seeing two sides firing at each other. That should be a big fucking giveaway. You know what I mean? You're seeing one side bombing another side, and you're seeing one side that they're non-combatants are screaming in anguish as they're carrying their children's fucking parts in bags. You know what I mean? That's what you're seeing, and that's just because it's genocide.
Yeah,
it's upsetting. And apologize once again. I let that guy get to me, and I used the naughty word. I shouldn't do that.
But tomorrow, I was just trying to line things.
I was going to escalate.
Comic books to vote on, guys. Comic books. They're fun.
I was just going to say, you cannot use Palestine's backward attitude to LGBT issues as a stick to beat them with, unless you use it as a stick to beat all countries with those issues, countries that are currently US allies.
Right.
Like,
I
the whole thing there is
I don't want people to die, even if they generally don't fucking think that, people I care about are worthy of living, believe it or not. The only people that I would want to die is someone who I'm actively having to prevent from killing somebody that I've,
it's so stupid because like speaking as a queer person, like this is the thing that really gets to me about a lot of like the anti-queer stuff that I've seen from like political Zionists who have tried to use it to like attack like Palestinians and do it pro-Israel apologetics. The thing that really gets to me about that is like the problem is conservatism. Our conservatives are like that. Their conservatives are like that. Conservatives are just like that. They're just evil. So, like, yes, conservatives who have power, right-wingers who have power in Gaza, which, by the way, Hamas is not the government of all of like Palestine. They're not in control in the West Bank.
Nope.
The Palestinian Authority is, and Hamas barely controls Gaza. They're like practically insurgent. They haven't had an election in like over a decade. There are people who have grown into adulthood without getting to vote in an election there. So acting like this is just how Palestinians think, I mean, is of course like another like nationalist lie. But like, Israel isn't that pro-gay, you know? Like it's crazy.
They maybe don't have like institutional rules for like throwing people off of buildings or whatever, but like, you know, yeah, they're not. It's absolutely crazy to think that just because some part of the world that is experiencing turmoil isn't up to speed with where we think they should be, that we should just fucking write them off and let them die. Is like, that's actually just almost as, or just as insane as the people who want to kill Palestinians just for being Palestinians. I mean, that is what it is. Yeah, but anyway, I'm fucking tired and hungry.
So tomorrow I'll be streaming. Last poll is up right now. Nobody's giving any love to the Star Trek book. Just point that out. Bobby Quarters has his fucking Snyderverse thing, which I'm dreading watching, but make sure to vote for that on the podcast channel. These are gonna suck so bad.
Surf Ninjas is a good film.
Surf Ninjas, that's
I'll
a classic.
take your word for it. I'll take your word.
Never seen it, man?
No,
oh man,
no.
Come on now.
I went to the cinema to see that. That's a good film. That's before Rob Schneider became Rob Schneider.
Right.
And, yeah.
No,
I think it was always Rob Schneider to a degree.
I want to say,
no way you can watch that again, unless it's for content. But still,
am I right in thinking that Leslie Nielsen's the villain in that film?
Who? Leslie Nielsen is the villain. Yes.
Ooh.
Leslie Nielsen. He plays like some kind of crazy dictator or whatever. But yeah. No gay marriage in Israel. Yeah. Only marriages from outside the country are recognized. Well, that's progress. Yeah. As long as you're not Palestinian, then they're, you know.
Well, plus, like, even bringing that up, it's almost like, so wait, if a person in a country murders a gay person, does that mean that country needs genocided now? Like,
well, it's also like,
what standard are we setting?
Does that mean if two Palestinians get married and they're gay, then they can go to Israel and they'll be safe?
It's literally a segregated state. Like, if it's, you can't live under segregation and talk about how enlightened you are. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Blasphemy. I will not have this fucking shit talking to this movie that I vaguely remember from when I was 8 years old. Not on this stream.
We stand up for Surf Ninjas on this stream.
We have standards. We stand up for things that matter around here. All right, guys. Got a minute and a half clip here. I think it actually has maybe the four of us. I don't know if we all speak on it, but yeah, on the way out the door. It's a pretty good one. It's a good little clip. Hope you all have a lovely rest of your week. Check out Nothing But Media on Nothing But Media's channel. That's linked below. Check out Chariot. That's also linked below.
Hell yeah. New video tomorrow, guys.
New video.
If you care about gay issues.
And you should. And if you don't, find a reason
Superman.
To maybe check it out. Check out Organized Chaos if you care about Bob's.
And who doesn't? Who doesn't, really?
I do remember Butthole Surfers, yeah. They were doing it in Texas, something like that, right? That song.
Yeah,
that's one of those bands that only got famous because Kurt Cobain mentioned them. It's fucking crazy. There's like this whole swath of bands that like suddenly got record deals. They've been around for like over a decade, and then Kurt Cobain mentioned, "Oh, I like the Butthole Surfers," and the records companies are like, "Oh, let's sign the Butthole Surfers."
Well,
anyway,
little funny bit of their history. Butthole Surfers have an album that they have pretty much ignored in their discography and tried to pretend like they never made. And the reason why is because the producer on that album was Kid Rock.
Oof.
And they
like, oh, was that when he had his Vanilla Ice?
That
wasn't the one that had the Shame of Life on it, because that's a good song.
I think it might have. It's no. I've heard it. It's actually a decent album, and it's like, oh, it's so bad it has that fucking.
All right, we got to get out of here before this Kid Rock praise continues any further. Yeah, check out all the channels below, and subscribe to all of them because they're all great. And here's some more content on the way out. Please subscribe whatever channel you're watching, And yeah, here's a punk rock thing: be kind to each other. Don't be a shithead. Peace. I can't stress enough how much Gary, in particular, the main guys, they don't give a single fuck about this media. They do not have any emotional investment, any kind of, like, they maybe did at one point. Now it is just, it's the same thing as this is the spatula they use to flip burgers as like an comparing it to working at a burger restaurant or whatever. It's just a tool that they use, right?
Yeah.
And
the only thing they care about this media is how they can exploit it for outrage, and that is it.
And in fact, us talking about this and spending this much time on it's actually unfortunate and frustrating, because we're trying to reach the people that they've fucking poisoned, or at least filter, some people that might fall into that content. But the main thing is that they're doing this to distract from the first thing that we talked about today. That's what they've, one of the, other than radicalizing people to the far right, the other purpose of it is to distract people's brains, so that, how we talk about how they don't have any information about whatever's going on politically. Part of that is because they're filling their brains with this garbage.
It's a distraction because their fans are going to be hit by these real world political issues. And I think they're too stupid to realize that if their fans have got less money, and if their fans are dying off or are deported or are made sick by this or poorer by it, they will lose money. They're too stupid to realize that.